Walnut Creek and Northgate High School. It's the Northgate Broncos playing host to the Antioch Panthers. Hello, everybody. I'm Anthony Schultz, along with Dan Wall. An interesting matchup here tonight, Dan. A couple of teams that have some similarities. Let's start with the Antioch Panthers, the visiting team first. Now, here's a team, Dan, that was down for a while. Things weren't going so well. Now they're looking to upgrade their facilities. We'll get into that later on in the telecast. But all of a sudden, this is a team to be reckoned with. A nice year last year and a good game against Pittsburgh in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's all about athletes, Tony. That's why teams go up and down in high school football, and some schools are lucky to have a lot of athletes all the time. And Antioch had a little dip in the talent level, and now they're back. They've got a strong arm quarterback in Hunter Carthong, a lot of receivers. We're going to see the spread offense tonight, and it should be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, looking for their second win of the season as they won in week number 1. And for the Northgate Broncos, Dan, this is a team kind of a nomadic existence. They had, a couple of different homes, didn't have their home facility until just very recently. Now they have this beautiful facility, which we will see here tonight. And not only do they have a nice field, but they've got something to show on the field as well.
Yeah, Northgate was never the strongest football team. You know, we've been on the air for almost 15 years now doing games. And remember the basketball games. They had a great basketball, Frank Alaco and Coach Swan over there, the girls basketball team, the softball program, the baseball program. Football team always lagged a little behind. And then every once in a while, they'd have a good year. 2 years ago, they were 9-3, made the playoffs for the first time I can remember. And this year, they've got some guys, once again, they have some athletes that can run this wing offense, the wing T offense that they like.
Hot potato pitch.
Hot potato pitch, Ignacio Valley-like, and also some option and some veer. So it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a contrast to styles tonight, Tony.
Should be very interesting. Come on back. We'll have the opening kickoff right after this.
Parking made easy and convenient.
You're good to go.
Now that was easy.
Hi, welcome to Inside Center Rep.
My name is Carrie Lederer, and I'm the curator of exhibitions here at the Bedford Gallery.
Hi there. Welcome to Get Lit.
And that's when I decided to run for the city council.
This is so exciting.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam?
TV and CCTV, the first of what I hope will be many games here on CCTV. Anthony Schultz along with Dan Wall. And Dan, we got to talk about the matchup in the open a little bit. Both these teams coming in at 1-0 with sort of these very fresh feeling, couple up-and-coming teams. Let's talk a little bit about the matchup.
Well, last week Antioch won 49-7 over Franklin, and I asked the coach, was that you guys being that good or them being that bad? And he said, well, it was a little bit of both. He said that Antioch played a very good game, but Franklin really, Tony, we're going to have to talk about this during the game, but we shouldn't even be having a game tonight because football usually doesn't start until next Friday. But because of the playoff situation and all the things that's happened, now we're playing in August, and that's why Antioch came in last week. Artie's played, Northgate played, 133-26. So we shouldn't be having this game tonight, but we are, and that's what we'll do.
But that's the way we get beautiful warm weather here tonight.
Not really, Tony. It's like October 20th here on August 31st. I don't mind it that way. I think this is football weather.
Well, it's supposed to be summer, but it's not summer here at Northgate High School tonight.
Find out from Matt what time it's going to air on Walnut Creek TV and also here. On both of them. So we'll tell these guys.
So, Tony, Antioch won the toss, and they're going to receive, although we didn't actually see the toss. We were coming up to the booth, but usually that means the other team deferred because everyone defers now to the second half.
Yeah, a very new thing. I don't remember ever seeing that happen. But I'll tell you what, Antioch's not going to mind that, Dan, because they had a great week last week, as you said, and put up a lot of yards, both passing and running. And we're going to see Joe Peltier at quarterback here tonight, the 210-pound senior. And he is a good runner as well. And he's also the kicker, and he's going to kick off here to Antioch. And remember, they put up a lot of yards last week, so we'll get a chance to see that offense right off the bat. And also Jordan Papagani over there for Antioch. He is back there to receive. And we should get underway here in just a minute.
They pooch. Watch the pooch.
Antioch could be, see if we get a pooch here to start the game. Peltier's approach, and he will pooch it. Just pops it up into the air and is going to have some hang time and be taking it at the 31-yard line. And that's where Antioch will set up shop. 1st and 10. So here are the starters for Antioch. Hunter Carthong is at quarterback. Elbert Hamilton is the running back. DJ Wall, Darian Jones, Jordan Papagani, and Bryce Dawson are the wide receivers. Cranberry Gatto is the center. Mitch Anthony, Randy Washington, Julio Crespo, and Herberto Rodriguez along that front line. And we'll have the Northgate defense for you in just a moment.
Mitch Anthony is the son of former Antioch coach. We visited with him earlier. Ferris Anthony, just
Ferris
to let you
Anthony.
know. And I want to let
Very
you know
happy to see you.
Across the front line, Antioch goes 250, 275, 364, 270, and 210.
All right, first play from scrimmage. Going to have a handoff going right up the middle that time, and a nice gain, look like. And some good yardage here, out across the 35 to about the 36-yard line. Let's call it 4 yards. And they bring up second down. Here's that Northgate defense. Tavaki, Kremen, Max Moore, Dimitri Bukas, Jake Smith, Sharp, Lemak in second play. And run to the outside, and that's going to be enough for an Antioch first down. Nice looking play there, and that'll move the chains. So first down for Antioch. Smith, Sharp, Lemak, Eric Haynes, Mastorelli, Brandon Lee, and Stephen Cuneo to round out the 11 for the Northgate defense.
Tony, that was Carthong on a keeper. The previous carry, I believe that's the starter, Hamilton, wearing 32 and not 5.
First pass of the game intended for number 7, Darian Jones, but well over his head and incomplete. So Carthong, one thing about Carthong, he does throw very well, very strong arm, Dan, but the deep balls, a little bit of accuracy problems. That's the one thing they really want him to work on. That'll bring up second down here at the 45-yard line.
Just mentioning, as I did, Hamilton, don't see a 5 on the sideline. I'm going to assume that's Hamilton in the backfield next to Carthong.
from the shotgun. Handed on Hamilton, left side, tries to turn the corner, and does. Out across midfield, inside the 45. That'll be a gain of about 13 yards and another first down coming to the near side.
And you know, Tony, when your cornerbacks and safeties are making the tackles, that means the running back
Not
for the
too
other
good.
time is getting deep into your defensive backfield. You can see here, great blocking, seal block there.
Hamilton.
And this kid had a great game, over 100 yards rushing in the first half last week against Franklin.
Boy, and that's big Randy Washington do a nice job on that block to seal up that side. Garthong looking to run, under pressure, now turns upfield, 40, 35, 30, down the sideline, another first down.
And tackles once again, defensive backfield. Lee was over there for Northgate. One interesting thing about Northgate, it's hard to call because they've never wore black before. This is Northgate's first season, and I remember in them wearing black. Here's a replay of that run.
Look at Garthong, another nice run around that right side. So all of a sudden, they're making some hay. Handoff going up the middle. And that's going to be close to another first down, Dan. About 6-7 yards more on that play. So every play except the one pass play that went awry, everything else has been a run and successful.
Well, as you see, Antioch goes no huddle. They spread the field with these receivers. It opens up gaps. If your linebackers aren't filling those gaps, you're going to get positive yardage when you run the ball in this.
Hamilton, a fake to him this time. Carthon this time is trapped, and he is going to go down under a host of tacklers. And it looked like the first man to get there was Joe Peltier, the senior 210-pounder, coming up from the defensive back spot to make the stop. Also plays quarterback, and you see him really turn this play in, and then the black shirts arrived in an angry mood to make the stop. The first good defensive play for the Northgate Broncos.
That was not Troy Palomalu on that tackle in there. It was Fisi Tavaki. We'll be talking about him a lot tonight as a linebacker and running back.
Northgate comes with a blitz. It's picked up. The throw is going to be caught. What a beautiful catch that time. Jordan Papagani able to reach back and make the play, Dan. That ball was a little bit behind him, but he made a nice mid-air adjustment to haul it in.
Well, it's a great read by the quarterback. Here you see it. 4 guys out. That means, you know, when you're playing a 3-5-3, that means a linebacker has to cover one of your receivers. And these receivers are all very athletic, very quick guys. And you saw Papagani make a nice catch right down the middle.
All right, first and goal situation here. Carthong looking for some room, and he's going to be swarmed under this time. And that time it was Jake Smith coming up to make the tackle number 1. And they're going to lose about a yard on that play. So only the second negative play here for Antioch. Actually, it's a loss of 4 on the play. So still a goal-to-goal situation. Hamilton looking to go up the middle. Getting close down there. He's going to be marked right near the goal line. No signal for the touchdown. And he's going to be just short. So Antioch knocking on the door early here, putting together a very nice drive.
And see, another thing you can't do here, Tony, you can't get a goal line defense in because they are on the ball and ready to go.
Going very quick. Carthong wants to go straight ahead. Did he get there? He did. Touchdown, Antioch, and they take a 6-0 lead. And Dan, that drive, remember, off the pooch kick, started about the 32-yard line. Antioch takes it the distance, and they're on the board first.
68 yards. It looked like the 49ers against the Rams, Tony. I know that's something you look forward to this year because I'm a 49er fan, and Tony's a Rams fan.
Don't say that on the air. All right, now for the point after. Out of the hold of Carthong.
I actually had the pleasure of coaching some of these kids 2 years ago with Ferris Anthony, and Velasquez was our kicker on that freshman team. He's the kicker here tonight as well.
So here's Jonathan to make it 7. Snap, hold, the kick is up. The kick is good. And just like that, with 8:37 to go in the first quarter, a 68-yard drive by Antioch, capped off by Carthong's 1-yard run. And the Antioch Panthers lead it 7-0. There you see the point after. And, you know, Dan, we always talk about it. One of the hardest things in high school sports isn't playing offense, isn't playing defense. It's place kicking. And they did a nice job there.
Well, you can see already, when I mentioned that the other day to both coaches, the Antioch coach, John Lucido, mentioned to me that they pooch all their kicks, which can present a problem for kids, but they were ready for it. You know, so they've been practicing all week on coming up, making a fair catch. But you got to figure there's something wrong with your either coverage game or your kicker doesn't have quite a strong foot if you're going to pooch every kick, unless that's just your philosophy.
Well, and also, too, I think sometimes once you get burned one time with it, you figure why give them another chance to do it? I'm just going to short kick it. We'll go down and cover it and at least make them take the bus and not take a plane.
Now Antioch has a totally different approach to it, which is to kick the ball. So we'll get to see. Now we saw on Antioch's drive exactly what you'd expect out of the spread. A lot of holes on the running game, a couple of nice passes, especially the one that got him down to the goal line.
Yeah.
Now let's see, and we got to explain to the people the first time they see it just exactly what the hot potato pitch is, Tony, but it's pretty easy to figure out.
That veer formation, those the running backs playing like the semi-wing positions. Carthon to kick, straight lines this one. It's going to bounce at about the 20-yard line to be picked up. 20, 25, turn to the corner to the near side, across the 30, out to about the 32-yard line. And it looked like it was Brandon Lee on the return. Nice return for Brandon. And it's going to be out to the 33-yard line. To take a look at Brandon here.
He got a good block in the middle. Actually, that was a good tackle in the middle of the field, but you can see Papagani came in to make the tackle. Papagani's been involved in a number of plays so far.
We've called his name several times. And take a look at that Northgate offense here in just a moment after the first play. First down and 10 for the Broncos. Operating from their own 32-yard line.
And they got the wristbands on, Tony, with the plays. So that's early in the season. It's always interesting to watch.
You talk about the veer, but they're going to go a 3 wide receiver spread here, Dan. Semi-veer, but usually we see a much tighter formation. And this time quickly swarmed under, and down he goes. And here is that Northgate offense. Joe Pelletier, PC Tavaki, Jimmy Sharp, Andrew Voorhees, Jake Smith, and Sean Kremen. Jeremy Lee, Tyler Modlin, Brett Reed, Skyhawk, Max Moore, and Scott Schneider are across the front line, and we'll have the Antioch defense for you in just a moment.
And Antioch's defensive line also has guys that go 250, 315, 364, and 310 across their front line. This almost sounds like a college team.
Looks like the Steelers. 1 wide receiver spread, I formation. Handoff straight up the middle. It's got some room this time. Hit and taken down at about the 40-yard line. Eric Haynes making a nice pickup there after the no gain on first down. He picks up a nice gain, leave him a couple of yards short of the first down. And here is that Antioch defense. Cranberry Gatto.
My favorite name on the team.
Javon Chapman, Randy Washington, Jonathan Gayton along that front line. Mark Beltram, Larry Larson. That's a first down run for Northgate. Hunter Carthon, Leonard Grillo, Darian Jones, Jordan Papagani, and Albert Hamilton to round out the starting 11 for the Panthers.
Haynes had a 3-yard gain and a first down on that play. Finding some holes off center, running straight up the middle.
But the formation definitely looks different than the old hot potato pitch that we used to see.
They said they're going to use the offset eye as well, and that's what they're in right now.
Handoff going straight up the middle this time. Pick up a couple of yards on first down, and I think that was Andrew Voorhees. Going to give Andrew about 4 yards, maybe I'll call it 3. 3 yards on first down will bring up second down and 7.
Last week, Northgate had 4 guys rush for over 50 yards, led by Tavaki, who rushed for 146 and 2 touchdowns. We've yet to see him run the ball yet tonight, but they run 4 or 5 guys. 75-25 mix on the passing, running to passing ratio.
Handoff up the middle. That's Tavaki again, and he's going to pick up a few more yards and leave him just a couple of yards short. And Hunter Carthon came up to make the tackle.
Amazingly, Tony, a strong arm as Carthon has, he's being recruited by Army, San Diego State, and a number of other West Coast schools as a defensive player.
Now that shows you the versatility of the young man. And a lot of guys with versatility. We'll see several players go both ways here in this game. Again with that I formation. Second back coming through, and this time Tavaki is swarmed under, and this time he did not get back to the line of scrimmage. See him as they break the pile. Several guys getting off, and Hamilton was one of them. And also number 4, Hunter Carthon again, and Marky Beltram, number 55, also there. So a host of Panthers there on that third down play. Dan is going to bring up fourth down here. Fourth down and call it about 3 on the Antioch side of the field. What do you do?
It looks like Northgate's going to go, or they're going to wait a while to get up to the line of scrimmage and call it. Might be a quick snap, kind of to see if they can get him to jump offside here.
Everybody at once, Dan, kind of looked at their little wristband cheat sheet. They're going to go for it.
And
here it is, and they've got it, and plenty more. Finally, Hamilton looks like he makes the tackle, but inside the 40, down to about the 40, the 37 of Antioch. An 8-yard gain on that play, and you take another look, and it'll be first down.
It's a simple option play, Tony. Pelletier kept the ball, went through the one hole he found. He kind of tiptoed his way through. A lot of times you see a bigger hole, but that time he felt like he could get through. He only needed 3 yards, and he did it. Northgate on the move here at the 37.
Now here's Pelletier bringing the Broncos back to the line of scrimmage. Going to fake this time, looks, fires, and just out of the reach of the tight end, going over to that far side. And it looked like that could have been Sean Cremen, number 88. And Cremen was open, Dan. That should have been a nice game.
We used to, when we do an Ignacio game, now they're not running the double wing offense right now. They can run it. They're running more of an offset eye. They can run a veer. But it's funny, when we were talking to the coach before the game, Justin Lowell, we were talking about the fact that, you know, every once in a while you pass, and usually the guy's open because you don't pass hardly ever.
So Pelletier going to do the safe thing this time and hand off. Get a couple of yards over that left side. You talk about Joe, a running threat, Dan, obviously, in this type of offense. Very physical, throws the ball pretty well, and he does have a lot of some experience coming from last year. He started the last 2 games a year ago for the Broncos.
Well, we mentioned in the open Northgate, this is a beautiful stadium. It's amazing to see it because when we used to do baseball here, it was just a football field, a grass football field that they just used for practice. We'll talk a little bit more about where they used to play after this play.
Pelletier, they're going to go around the right end this time, pick up some room. That's going to be a first down. Jimmy Sharp, he's got a first down coming to the near side, and they're going to move the chains. And they're going to spot this football just outside the 20 to about the 21-yard line. Take another look.
Voorhees made a nice block to get him outside on that play. But, you know, it's all about bodies, Tony. If you got more bodies on their defensive players and you have that runner out there, you're going to have
fumble.
Success.
But picked up by Pelletier, and looks like he's going to pick up a yard. Dan, that was the first time we saw that traditional alignment with the hot potato pitch. The first time we see it, what do we see? A fumble.
They fumbled the ball 6 times last week as well. That was one of the problems. They had a bad first half against San Marin. They came back and won that game with a lot of rushing yards in the second half. They've had a good drive here. It's kind of unusual that you would switch to that in the middle of your drive. Why don't you stay with what's working for you? And that eye had been working for him. When we talk about the hot potato pitch, is what they do. They line up in the double wing. You see this tight formation that they have. And usually the quarterback pitches the ball immediately. See how he got rid of it right there? And he goes out and blocks, and you can see Tavaki with a small gain there.
Yeah, just a couple of yards for Tavaki. And one thing about that pitch that I always found strange, Dan, is because it's as if he's running to you, and instead of handing him the football, you pitch it. But that's exactly why they do that, because they want the quarterback to get out there and help block.
It's all about numbers. It's getting our 10 guys against your 11 bodies, and you figure if you got 2 or 3 guys deep, we might have more bodies than you can provide up at the line.
Now here's that double wing formation again. This time they want to go the other way. Peltier's going to keep it himself, and he's going to be swarmed under. A nice tackle that time by Larry Larson, number 42, the senior captain, coming up to make the stop. About a 3-yard gain, and it is going to bring up 3rd down. That's going to bring up 4th down, as the clock rolls under 3:05 to go here in this first quarter. So each team with a touchdown. A nice drive for a touchdown by Antioch, and now the Broncos trying to answer. They've already converted 4th down into 1st down once, and obviously they're going to go for it again here.
Well, you know, that was a staple of Coach Murphy when he installed this Ignacio years ago, back before we had some of the other coaches who took over. They never punted the ball.
Pelletier throws. He's got a man complete. That is going to be a 1st down inside the 10-yard line. Jake Smith, the 205-pound junior, was open. That was sort of a back shoulder throw, and we were able to rotate his body and make the catch. 1st down and goal for the Broncos.
And the amazing thing about that play, Tony, is how open Smith was. He was the only Bronco out on the pattern, and with 4 defenders around him.
Going right up the middle. That is going to be a touchdown for the Broncos. Eric Haynes from about 6 yards away. Touchdown Broncos, and now a point after away from tying up the game. They're going to go for 2 here. Joe Pelletier is the kicker, Dan, and he was an all-league defensive end last year. He's made kicks from 30 yards. That's about his range from 30, but instead they're going to go for 2.
He kicks off. He's the punter. He's the quarterback. He's the middle linebacker, and there's a rumor he drives the van, with the equipment van to away games. And that's just something I heard.
And I hear he cooks a great steak. Going right up the middle. Is that going to be 2? It is. The Broncos get the deuce, and they take the lead 8-7. An exciting first quarter of action here. 2:28 to go here in the first period. Broncos 8. Antioch 7.
You just saw the block by number 77, Brent Reed Skyhawk there. Knocked one of the Panthers' helmets off to make that hole. So far, Tony, there will be none of this will be shown on any defensive films, any defensive highlight films. We are seeing offense at its best at the high school level right now.
Look at that hole right there, the helmet popping off. There is a highlight reel for you. Nice work on the camera, guys. Thank you.
Well, what you're seeing here is offenses that are a little different than the traditional ones, which you see a lot in high school football. That's one of the interesting. You watch a pro game, everyone runs basically the same offense.
Sometimes it's almost a little bland. They call it a copycat league.
It is.
I mean, it's a Xerox league.
Yeah, a few years ago it was all about running backs in the NFL. Now it's all about quarterbacks in the NFL. In high school, you get, and it's a lot of times it's coaching philosophy. Because I've even asked some of these guys. I asked Ivankovich, the coach at Ignacio Val, who's at Akalani's now, a couple years ago, even if you had a great quarterback, would you change your offense? No. It's their philosophy. So a coach believes in a philosophy, and he has to mold those athletes into that. That's why now it's so important. Antioch plays this offense all the way up every level. You have to play it because you have to understand it. I'll maybe explain a little bit more. As I mentioned, I coached it a couple years ago. It has a very interesting set of plays and formations and
taking it the 31, out across the 35 to about the 33. From the 26, rather, to the 33. So a short gain on the return, but pretty good field position for Antioch on their second drive. Lorenzo Cortez with that return, and they're just going to stay away from Papagani, not kick the ball deep, and not risk the big play on special teams. They're going to mark this ball at about the 34, the nose of the football just on the 34-yard line, 1st and 10, and here comes again that Antioch offense.
So what they do is each receiver has, in whatever they call 90 wheel X, that's their formation. Each receiver in that has a specific pattern. And you have to know, in a lot of times in the old days, hey, you run a button hook and you run to the sideline and I'll throw it to you. It's very complicated. Though everyone has their own assignment here, and the blocking, of course, goes with that.
4 wide receivers spread on that spread offense. Hamilton breaks a tackle, cuts it back 40, 45 still on his feet, across midfield. Hamilton is gone. Nobody's going to catch him. 5, touchdown Antioch.
Well, I got to tell you, Tony, there was a great block thrown around midfield by DJ Wall that got him past the last wave of tacklers. But that is a special kid right there. That reminds me of Antioch back in the 70s and 80s, the kind of running backs they had then. Look at this. Breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle, breaks another tackle, breaks another tackle. Now watch this block right there. DJ Wall. That looked like a Jerry Rice type block back in the day. And he goes 66 yards for the touchdown. That was a phenomenal play.
Eric Haynes, and it's not only him, but Eric Haynes had a great shot to get him before he got away, able to break everything and go all the way down 67 yards on the touchdown run, and Antioch back ahead in what has become a very exciting first half.
Actually, first quarter.
First quarter, excuse me. A lot of excitement packed into that first quarter.
We got 2 minutes to go in the first quarter.
All right, here's Velasquez now to try the point after. 1 for 1 so far, and here's number 2. Snap, hold, kick, and whistles are going to blow this one dead.
Tony, we always talk about that. There's one team that always seemed to have really good special teams. You know what team that was?
No.
De La Salle. Because they have pretty good everything.
Yeah, all right.
But always there would be some form. The punter can't punt, or the kicker can't kick an extra point, or we can't kick off, we can't cover kicks. And that is what will kill you, those kind of mistakes, because that is a very important part of the game.
All right, Velasquez will have to back up 5 yards. That illegal procedure penalty going against the Panthers, and will have to re-kick this one.
Velasquez was the kicker on that freshman team I coached, and he was the guy. He walked right out. You need a kicker. Boom, I'm a kicker. And you can see he's only a junior, so he'll be the kicker next year as well.
Snap, hold, kick, and this one is no good.
So as you can see, a little penalty pushes you back.
Because the first one did actually go through the uprights and would have been good had it not been for the penalty. So the point after is no good. And here still in the first quarter, the Panthers 13 and the Northgate Broncos 8. Right here on WCTV. You're also watching us on Contra Costa Television. Anthony Schultz along with Dan Wall. West Coast Jamboree coming this December. The best in girls high school basketball. For more information, Give us a call, 925-706-2802. That www.westcoastjamboree.com. And there's Dave Jackson is here with us, keeping the stats, and he's the man responsible for the biggest girls basketball tournament on the West Coast.
It is, and I heard this year there's 476 teams.
Only 128.
That's Dave Jackson. By the way, and another thing I want to remind you of, something I'm involved in a couple weeks, Tony. Out at the Antioch Community Center, we're going to have a big free concert.
Really?
Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers,
Free.
a ZZ Top tribute band,
Wow,
and a couple local
all right.
bands on September 14th. Nick Karasis out of Pittsburgh, a good blues guitar player, good blues rock guitar player. So if you're not doing anything on September 14th, there's Justin Lowell. Yeah. Justin out of Santa Cruz area and went to high school down there. Cabrillo College and finished up college in Southern California. Of course, John Lucido on the other sideline. Played at Antioch back in the late 80s, early 90s. He was actually on a game we did back in those days.
Big booming kick by Carthon. This is going to go in the end zone for a touchback. And what a beautiful weapon that is to have in high school football when you can make the other team start at the 20. Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria, thanks very much for all your support and the delicious crew meal tonight. Pepperoni pizza. Dan, how was it?
Well, I got to tell you, Rocco is just one of those guys. He's always there for us. His pizza's always great. It's a great restaurant to go to. I watched an NCAA championship game there one night with a couple of my buddies, and after 2 or 3 pitchers of beer, I didn't care who won.
All right, the Broncos trail it again here. 13-8 start of their own 20. Back in that traditional hot potato double wing pitch. And they're going to try to go up the middle. Very short gain, if any, maybe a half yard, and that's all. It'll bring up second down, and we'll call it 9.
It looked on that play that Antioch collapsed most of their interior line, and then the linebackers just came in and filled that hole. See, that's the whole point. You've got to get separation. You've got to get a guy out in front to block. And then, but another thing about this, if you've ever noticed when we watched Ignacio, they'd get 2, they'd get 3, then they'd do something silly and they'd get 17. Or they'd throw a pass and score a touchdown because you're so used to seeing it and so used to following it.
Well, those YV teams, I couldn't believe how they would get it playing from such a tight formation. But here, going to go right up the middle. Peltier's got a nice gain. Going to be dragged down from behind, but he's going to pick up about 17 yards and a first down. And Corey Desroisers coming up there to make the tackle. And take another look here. Great block to seal it. Then he breaks one. And then have to be caught from behind that time.
I think it was Rod Brosimer that made the block that got him loose at the line of scrimmage. But, you know, this game went exactly to plan. This is exactly what you expect out of these kind of offenses. Antioch has the ability at bigger plays, and Northgate can just grind the ball. The only thing about this offense, if you get behind late in the game, it's hard to come back because you have to take a lot of time to drive the ball.
They're going to go first man through, and just another short gain this time. Operating from about their own 48-yard line. They call it a gain of about 1. Local high school sports, do you want to be a part of seeing more local high school sports coverage on television? We need your help. Call 925-324-5313 or email at cchighschoolsports@gmail. That's cchighschoolsports@gmail. That phone number, Dan? That's a very familiar phone number.
I
That's
think
mine.
I know that one, yes.
Looking to pass here on second down. Throws and way up high. Looking to hit Jake Smith over there. And Smith had a little bit of room, but he was pretty well covered. That's all by Hunter Carthon.
And you know, Tony, I've never been asked about one subject in my life. Not many people have ever asked me back, like to their house or to a party or anything like that. But I always have people who say, how come you guys aren't doing that football anymore?
Yeah,
I loved that stuff.
It's
and finally, to maybe have a chance to do it a number of times, it got me excited again.
I'm trying my best, Dan.
I know you are.
Along with the help from guys like Dave Jackson, guys like Matt Bolender, and yourself and everybody else that's involved, we're going to try to bring you much, much more local high school sports. All right, back to that spread formation here this time, Dan. Peltier stops, throws. He's got a man. That's going to be a first down inside of Northgate territory. Brandon Lee on the reception, about 13 yards and a first down. And, Dan, that looked like it was done exactly the way they drew it up.
Well, I really like this Pelletier kid. He's got good poise in the pocket. He rolled opposite. This is a hard throw to
It's
make.
a very
Tony.
hard throw to make.
You're
And Dan,
going to the opposite side, your opposite arm.
I was going to ask you about that because a lot of times when you see right-hand quarterbacks run left, you have to stop, get into your right-handed throwing motion, and then throw. That is the end of the first quarter, and at the end of 1 quarter of play, it's the visiting Antioch Panthers 13 and the Northgate Broncos 8. We'll be back with the second quarter in just a moment.
Last year, over 1,000 Walnut Creek locals lent a hand to build a better community. Join us again this year for Community Service Day on Saturday, October 6th. The day will kick off with a pancake breakfast at Heather Farm Park at 7:30 a.m. Then join one of 50 different projects suitable for children and adults happening all over the city starting at 9 a.m. or noon. Each project will take 4 hours or less to complete. Online registration is now open on the city's website. Go online now and find a cause you care for and lend a hand for a better Walnut Creek.
All right, back at Northgate High School in Walnut Creek. There you see that first quarter score, a brand new frame. Let's get set for the second quarter. Daniel?
By the way, Roy Pohl, or is it Ray Pohl? Ray Pohl. Dave, we can't read Jackson's writing. Tim Constein, Tony Miles, Kevin Jones, and Greg Chappell, the wrestling coach at Liberty High School. A long-time, great teams out there at Liberty. He's the back judge today. That's our officiating crew.
Going right up the middle. Big play. Tackle broken. Inside the 25. Fumble the football. It's loose. Are they going to say down? Flags flying everywhere. Antioch thinks they have the football. And now we're going to have a horse collar, I believe.
There's a whole lot of things that happen on this play, Tony. I think Northgate's going to keep the ball. We'll wait and see, though. I saw what looked like a horse collar on the tackle. That could change everything. And that came on the tackle before the loss of the ball. If it came after the loss of the ball, then it would just be a penalty in Antioch.
Let's take another look here.
Right there.
It was Andrew Voorhees on the carry. Ball came loose.
That's the call. Horse collar in Antioch. It'll be a first down for Northgate, and that's the right call.
Can't do that anymore.
And I'm an Antioch graduate.
A couple of years ago, Dan, we used to see that all the time in pro football. I used to say, hey, if you don't want them to do that, put something behind in there so they can't reach in there and grab. They went ahead and said, hey, there's too many injuries on that play as they go ahead and mark off the penalty. So a big play overall here, Dan, that you've got the run and then you've got the penalty following, and all of a sudden the Broncos in business here.
Well, that was a great run that time. I know you got Voorhees running the ball. You got Sharp running the ball. You got Tavaki. We haven't seen him as much as last week. He ran the ball a lot. We got Pelletier throwing. This is an impressive offense so far.
All right, here's that double wing. Tavaki's going to get it. Ball's loose again, but penalty flags are going to blow this one dead before it gets going. So back-to-back plays with penalties, and now we're going to have defensive encroachment against Northgate.
No.
Against Antioch, against the defense. So Antioch will have to back up a little bit more.
The offense can't encroach.
Only the defense. So 5 more yards here.
And you can't really say, oh, they're lucky there because of the penalty. That he might have dropped the ball because he heard whistles we're a little bit up here in the press box at the beautiful new Northgate Stadium athletic facility.
Pelletier under center. Going to fake it one way, go the other way, hopping over the pile, and down near the goal line. Are they in? Touchdown! Touchdown, Northgate! So the Broncos answer right back. This time it's Eric Haynes. Remember, he missed the tackle on that last big play from Antioch, but he comes here and gets the touchdown. And just like that, it's a 14-13 Bronco lead. Remember, they had the 2-point conversion the first time. They're going to go for that again here to try to make it a field goal lead here in the second quarter.
And Tony, both of the defensive coordinators are reaching for their Pepto-Bismol right now because there has been no defense whatsoever played in this game.
Handoff trying to go inside, unable to do so, and the Antioch Panthers stiffen here on the 2-point for conversion, so the conversion fails. And the score remains the Broncos 14 and the Panthers 13, 11:37 to go here in the opening half.
Yeah, Tony, that took 2 minutes and 41 seconds. So we've had 4 touchdowns so far in just, you might as well say a quarter. We're only 23 seconds into the second quarter. So this game, we're looking at like 56-52, which is beautiful. I'd love to see a game that high, that kind of score. Last year, Antioch played a game against Heritage in overtime. I believe it was 51-48 was the final score of that game. A lot of guys said that was one of the best football games in years out in the East County. Antioch just couldn't put Heritage away. Heritage kept getting the ball back and scoring. They scored with like the last second, and then they scored in overtime.
Very exciting, and we talked about last week, Dan, and remember these guys did not have, talking about the Broncos, they had a really tough first half with all those turnovers. www.walnutcreektv.org is Walnut Creek Television. And
tell us if you want to see more. I know my wife enjoys when I leave the house and come out and do these. Volleyball, now, is it beach volleyball?
No.
Well, Misty may be my color
partner.
Or
it's
one of
going
our
to be in a nice warm gym. But
okay.
So last week they had the 4 turnovers in the first half, and then Feasey ended up with 146 yards, a pair of touchdowns. Peltier, a couple of rushing touchdowns last week, Dan. So all of a sudden we're seeing them put together a sort of a string of good offensive quarters here. Or at least trying to string it out here into the second, but starting off very well for both offenses and also, and particularly, for the Northgate Broncos.
Well, we'll see how Antioch answers. The last time they answered very quickly.
Here's the kick, short pooch. Going to be taken over here on the near side at the 30. Nice move to get away, and then down at the 35-yard line. Corey Desroyser's number 9, able to make that catch, made a nice move, Dan, to get away. And it looked like he was going to get more yards, but then stopped after about a 5-yard gain on that kickoff return.
Now, Coach Lucido, when we talked on Wednesday, told me that they were going to fair catch these. But I guess there might be a limitation as to where you can run it. Maybe if you see 10 yards of ground in front of you, take it.
But yeah, exactly. If the pooch is high enough and they force you to fair catch, you go ahead and fair catch, but if not, if you got a chance to return it, you might as well go ahead and do that.
Or it might depend on the personnel you have in and who catches the ball. I doubt if you're going to have one of those big 250-pound guys trying to run with the ball.
Just go down. Just hold on to the ball and go down. Shotgun formation. There's that spread offense, 4 wide receivers. Carthon running left, trying to turn the corner. He does. Hits, spins off a tackle, spins off another tackle, crosses the 40-yard line, out to about the 41-yard line. Jimmy Sharp came up to make the tackle. But a nice gain there of about 6 yards. Look at Carthon. It looks like they have him bottled in, and that's just all speed getting to the outside, Dan.
Well, the linemen kind of gave up their blocks early on that one, Tony. You could see, and 4 guys are chasing Carthon, but Carthon's a heck of an athlete. He's probably going to play at the next level, and you could see the speed right there.
Hunter going to hand it off this time, going straight up the middle. That's going to be a first down yardage, and that's Hamilton. He's going to pick about 7 or 8 yards, and that's going to be a first down, getting up toward midfield. So another nice run on a first down. And take a look at Hunter Carthon. Dan, he's also the kicker. He does so many things well. Probably the best athlete on the team. We talked about the deep ball needs a little bit of work, but he does have a really good arm right up the middle again. And it's Hamilton. He's going to get down to the 45-yard line, and that's going to be a 6-yard gain. It'll bring up second down.
You can see he's got holes up the middle. Once again, you're having linebackers and safeties coming up to make the tackle. He reminds me of a DJ Williams type back. Remember, he played at De La Salle. He's got a lot of size. He's quick once he gets out into the open, but he can pick those holes and he can hit you.
Carthon looking to run. Cuts it up there. Picks up the first down. Carthon hit and banged down inside the 35, down to the 34, and flags fly at the end of the play. So that's going to be a really nice run. But let's see what happened. Unsportsmanlike conduct. And they're going to throw somebody out of the game here.
Wow, let's see if we can see this on a replay.
Number 65, that's Rob Brosemer exiting the ball game. Let's check it out.
But they went back on the Antioch side. Well, I didn't see anything on that play that warranted a ejection, but it could have come away from our camera shot.
Yeah, Brosemer just came off the field just as
the penalty
a
was
normal
on
substitution. So And it looked like they were throwing somebody out of the game, but I did not see a Panther leave the field.
Okay, so it's on Northgate. Okay, so someone from Northgate did get ejected there. I have absolutely no idea why.
Could not tell on that replay. We're being told by Dave Jackson that Papagani has been ejected.
Well, they're explaining something to the coach here, but the penalty was on. Now it's on.
Now they're reversing it.
Are these replacement officials?
Unsportsmanlike conduct is the call. We know that. And that is going to back Antioch after what would have been a very nice first down run for the Panthers.
And that's going to hurt Antioch. Papagani caught the nice pass down the middle. He's their deep threat in the on the kicking team, although we haven't seen him kick the ball to him. Number 8 is Jordan Papagani. Now the penalty is against Antioch, so it's an Antioch player that got ejected. Yep. Number 8, Jordan Papagani, is the rumored, and he's over on the sideline without his helmet on, so that's usually the sign. I can't imagine what happened there. I did not see it on the replay. So
they still they're showing first down. The ball is at midfield. The nose of the football right on the 50. Now they're going to reset the chains, and it looks like they're going to set up first down and 10.
Well, if they're going to give them a first down, it came after the play because they already gained the yardage because it wasn't a hold or a clip or anything like that.
A personal foul would have wiped all that
out.
Like
I said, unless it's after the play.
All right, on first down, Hamilton trying to get away up the middle, able to sort of slither his way for about 4 yards. It'll bring up second down at 6. Didn't look like he had anything there, Dan. It's still able to get some yardage anyway.
Yeah, he's that kind of back. Yeah, Hamilton's rushed 7 times for 108 yards and a touchdown so far in tonight's
game.
Hamilton
is the workhorse. 700 yards last year, Dan. He didn't start all the games. He missed the last couple due to injury and actually shared the starting duties at running back and still got 700 yards of rushing offense. He's going to get it again. He wants to come to the near side, tries to turn the corner, hemmed in and taken out of bounds here on the near side. So negligible gain there on the play. Nice defensive stand that time by the Broncos. Take another look.
Yeah, a little draw play coming back to our side of the field, but not a lot of blocking that time. And Antioch has blocked well tonight, but you've seen on this last series, Tony, Carthong ran for his life on one play, and now Hamilton has basically had to get all the yardage on his own. So Antioch's going to have to get a few more bodies on these linebackers, very athletic linebackers for Northgate.
Tavaki able to come up there and make the stop. All right, third down. Carthong rolling, fires, got a man. It's going to be incomplete. Looking for number 9. That's Corey Desroisers, who was open momentarily, but the pass incomplete, and that will bring up fourth down here for the Panthers. So fourth down, and the Panthers look to be about 4 yards short. They need the Broncos 40 for a first down. This side of the field, this type of game, Dan, I doubt they're going to punt the football here.
I would think they'd put it in the hands of Carthong and let him make the decision at the line of scrimmage. Whether he wants to run with it, maybe he sees a hole.
Carthong, another guy, Dan, who this year comes in with a lot of experience, played a lot at the quarterback position last year. So this is not his first year. So he does know the offense pretty well, and you said he's got that versatility to do a lot of things for you. Out of the shotgun this time, that spread offense. Broncos show blitz, and they come across the line. That is going to give Antioch a first down.
That is exactly why you go to a long count. That is exactly what you try to do, is to get someone who just thinks he's going to time it, and oh no. And he really didn't come far off sides on that play.
He just got into the neutral zone.
Yeah, he just crossed over that mythical line there. And
that was Jake Smith, number 1, from that middle linebacker spot, Dan. He was trying to time it ever so perfectly, but the long count got him that time, and a free first down for Antioch. Now just inside the 40, and Hamilton right up the middle, tries to break a tackle. He's going to pick up a nice gain. Tackle made by Steven Cuneo that time, number 3, but about 13, 14 yards and a first down.
Now look at the blocking here. Seal block to the left, numbers up the middle. Hamilton finds the hole, and a nice 15-yard gain.
Boy, and
he's an all-league type back.
Hamilton again up the middle, picks up more yards, hits a couple of tacklers, and to get it inside the 20. They go very quickly, Dan, but I wanted to point out Mitchell Anthony on that previous play. The offensive lineman made a great seal block on that far side to help spring Hamilton for the nice gain.
And as we mentioned, that's Ferris's son, Ferris Anthony, the one-time varsity coach, also the freshman coach, a player at Antioch.
So Antioch looking to reclaim the lead. They trailed by a point. Carthon out of the shotgun. Hamilton flanks him. Going to be a fake to Hamilton. Carthon trying to run, and he is going to pick up some yardage. Going to bring it very close to a first down. Dan is going to be about a yard or so short. That'll bring up third down and very short here for Antioch.
Just looking at Antioch's line from here, man, they have some big boys on that line. Number 73, Randy Washington, as we mentioned, goes 364, and he's very athletic.
Carthon just pushing the pile here, Dan.
I think he just followed the big bodies, Tony, on that one.
And Cranberry Gatto, the starting center tonight, Dan, he plays left guard usually, and he started as a sophomore at center last year, and he's the guy that they want to run behind, and he's a big boy, as you said, so they get that big body going, Dan, and they can just easily pick up those first downs, and they just, I think, a little bit short here. So a little bit short, and now they're going to see that the Panthers backing up. They look to be a little confused. Now they're going to come out here to measure. That's how close it was. We're going to have to see. So here comes the chain gang to find out whether this is a first down. There you go, and it is a first down for the Panthers. So the drive clicks it back over to first down here. It would have been a short fourth down play, but instead they get the fresh set of downs and first down for Antioch. So here come the Panthers operating from just outside the Bronco 15-yard line. Carthon hands to Hamilton over that right side, and Hamilton inside the 10, close to the 9-yard line. That's about a 6-yard gain on first down. That'll bring up second down and about 4.
You know, another guy he kind of reminds you of, a local guy, is Frank Gore. The way they just kind of go, nothing gets ran outside tackles here. It's all going right up the middle. If you go outside the tackles, it's the quarterback, but you can see him, and that's what happens when your tackles don't block anybody, Tony.
Hamilton dropped behind the line of scrimmage this time. They're going to lose a little bit, and that was Jake Smith, who committed that penalty earlier in the drive, comes up and makes a nice play there, getting in the backfield and dropping Hamilton for a loss. Well, that'll bring up third down and 4 here for the Panthers.
I'd almost look at a pass right here. They haven't
Remember,
thrown the ball in a while.
Hunter Carthon is the kicker, Dan, and he can make them from about 42 yards. Carthon rolling left, under some pressure, throws for the end zone. Ball is tipped and incomplete. Bryce Dawson there defensively, number 15. Pardon me, he was the intended receiver on the play. Take another look. Boy, ball pass well covered by the Broncos, and very fortunate that wasn't intercepted. That was Brandon Lee, number 2, there defensively with the pass defensed.
Here's a penalty on Northgate.
You get a chance to see what the call was.
Defensive holding, and that should give Antioch a first down. If not, it'll be third and very short.
So if they were to attempt a field goal, Hunter Carthon, Dan, 42 yards last year against Clayton, also had a 39-yarder against Heritage. Both sent games into overtime, so they can make field goals. But you figure in a short yardage situation, they're not looking for 3.
I believe it's going to be third and about 1, Tony.
Once they get this sorted out, after that penalty, scoreboard still says 4th down. The chain gang says 3rd down. Oh, a 3rd down and short. Carthon from the shotgun. Fakes it to Hamilton. He wants to run left. Cuts it up inside. And he's going to be in for a touchdown. Hunter Carthong from about 6 yards away, and that is a touchdown for the Panthers, and the seesaw game continues 19-14 in favor of Antioch.
And I've been waiting to say this name. Corey DeRosiers made the block to get Carthon. And this Carthon, just great athleticism, took the ball. He knew he was taking it the whole time, went right around the left end, and actually dove about the last 3 yards into the end zone to score that touchdown. Last year, Antioch played Northgate. It was 26-14. That was the final. Right now, it's 19-14 with 6 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Up and down the field, 6:41 to go. Here's Antioch. They're going for two themselves this time. A fake to Hamilton. Nice straight arm, but this time Carthon going to be dragged down. And Tavaki, number 25, came up to make the stop, so the two-point conversion is denied, and the score remains Panthers 19 and the Broncos 14. 6:41 to go here in the first half.
As I mentioned the last time, Tony, the defensive coordinators, I saw one of them heading for the top of the roof to jump off. Has there been more than 2 or 3 negative plays in this game? I mean, it's been positive
Just
yardage,
a few.
Just a couple. Penalties.
Had a couple of penalties here and
played
there.
big in that drive.
We've had a couple of good defensive plays, but mostly offense. West Coast Jamboree coming this December, the best in girls high school basketball. For more information, call 925-706-2802 or go to the website westcoastjamboree.com.
And I'm sure Dave Jackson has a team flying in from Hawaii this year or somewhere.
From all over the place.
They come in from everywhere. Buses arrive and vans arrive and airplanes land out on Lone Tree Way in Antioch at the old airport site. And people come in from all over. He's had the number 1 team in the nation here a number of times.
There's a look at the Antioch side. Head coach John Lucido. John, 17 years with Antioch. This is his 3rd year, Dan, as the head coach, but he's been coaching here for a very long time. Last year they were 6-5. They lost to Pittsburgh in the playoffs 19-13. And the year before that, Dan, when he first had the team in his first year, they were just 1-9 following several very, very tough seasons here in Antioch, and you've got to give John a lot of credit and his coaching staff for sort of turning around the whole culture here with Antioch football.
Here's some interesting stats. Hamilton, 12 carries, 134 yards and a touchdown, only has 1 negative on his in the 12 carries, and 1 other play went for a -6, so Antioch's only had 2 plays that had negative yards so far.
Carthong booting this one. This one's going to bounce at about the 3-yard line and roll into the end zone. That is the 2nd straight touchback kicked by Carthong, and I'm telling you, that is a major weapon in high school sports to have. Rocco's Restaurante and Pizzeria, right over there near on
Oak
Grove.
Tortellini. Have you ever had the pesto tortellini?
Oh, it's delicious.
Oh, it's good stuff.
Great salads and pizza, nice atmosphere. That's Rocco's Restaurante and Pizzeria. Thanks for the support.
Yes, thanks for the support, Rocco.
All
By
right.
the way, Tony, I just wanted to mention, too, none of these drives have been short drives. This will be the 2nd time Northgate started at their 20. They also started around their 30, and Antioch has started virtually every drive after the pooch kick around the 35-yard line. We're talking about close to 400 yards in offense if Northgate goes down and scores on this drive in the first half.
Well, Antioch wants to talk it over. They just signaled timeout Panthers. They had some sort of confusion. Local high school sports. Do you want to be part of seeing more local high school sports coverage on television? We need your help. Give us a call at 925-324-5313 or email cchighschoolsports@gmail. That's cchighschoolsports@gmail. We want to bring.
It's nice to watch games and see people that we called games, for back in the day. Maurice Jones-Drew, even though he's not playing right now, but he played here, and you get a guy every once in a while. Jane Appel, who played at Carondelet and went on to Stanford, and also now playing in San Antonio in the WNBA. So it's nice to go, hey, I did her game in high school. I see guys at the mall every once in a while, and they go, hey, Curly, weren't you the guy that did those games with that other guy with the glasses? And usually they're right. Yeah.
Every once in a while. All right, first down and 10 from the 24. Northgate trying to reclaim the lead. Handoff, trying to go that left side, picked up maybe a yard. And that is going to be number 12, Jimmy Sharp on the carry. We talked about a number of these guys, Dan, that will handle the ball here for the Broncos. They like to spread it around.
That was now they're back in the I. Little offset I. Sharp is the up back. And behind him is 22, Haynes.
Call that a
They've
gain
all
of
ran the
2.
ball a lot so far in this game. One thing that's nice to see, too, on the Northgate sideline, there's actually some players. You know, we did or saw Northgate a couple times where it seemed like there was like 5 guys and the team players on the field. It's nice to see them with a complement of players.
So following a 2-yard gain will bring up 2nd down and 8. I formation. And they're going to go straight up the middle this time, and another short gain. Getting off the bottom of that pile for Antioch is big number 73, Randy Washington, one of the captains. The senior coming in at 364 pounds, but he is not just a big guy. He can actually move that big body. And he's also a basketball player, so that tells you something about his athleticism.
I'd like to have him set me a pick.
I'd hate to have to be the guy in charge of the floor. But he is an athlete. He is not just a big guy. Back to pass, looking to throw, going deep down the field, far side. He's got a man. It's going to be incomplete.
I think he just underthrew him on that one, Tony. That was the deepest pass so far of the game that we've seen.
Boy, that's the hard throw to make, Dan. That is this deep out pass, and it does kind of rainbow a little bit, not on a line, but pretty close to getting it to Brandon Lee over there on the far side. Lee had to come up with a dive, unable to come up with the football, but a pretty good-looking throw that time by the Broncos.
And he had to throw it to the sideline. There were 3 Antioch defenders over there.
Well, this is going to bring up 4th down and 6, Dan. The nose of the football on about the 23-yard line here, so looks like they're going to punt the ball away this time. High snap, punt, and this one is going to hang up and hit at about the 45-yard line of the Broncos and go out of bounds at about the 45-yard line.
Before the game we were talking, Tony, you mentioned that Northgate, they should have been called the Nomads, the Northgate Nomads, because
it's a good name.
Up until 3 or 4 years ago, this facility wasn't here, and they didn't play home games here. They played at Los Madonnas College. They played at Diablo Valley College. Early in their tenure, they didn't have football for a couple years because they didn't have seniors to play it, and they played at Pleasant Hill High School. Another thing interesting about it, they actually started as a school called YV South. They actually were all going to Ignacio Valley, and they divided the school up, and this was YV South, and you're YV. They'd still go to the same school, but the kids they knew were coming over here actually still attended Ignacio Valley High School, then moved over here in 1974. We played, when I was at Park Junior High, YV South, the only year they ever played freshman football.
So a 22-yard net on the punt, and we're going to have a reverse here coming to the near side, trying to turn the corner, going to be dragged down. The ball carrier that time was DJ Wall, but dragged down after a very nice tackle, and that looked like it was going to be number 25 again for Northgate, Tavaki. Let's see. Actually, no, that is going to be Jimmy Sharp, number 12, getting away from the block. What a play that was by Jimmy Sharp to disengage from the block and make the tackle.
It looked like if that had been a fake reverse and Hamilton had kept the ball, that they would have got a lot more yardage on the far sideline.
Well, they got 4 yards anyway. Now they're going to pick up a 1st down, and that is going to be number 4, Hunter Carthon, going up the middle. And he's going to pick up about 6, maybe closer to 7 yards, and that is going to be another 1st down. And now the chains will move, and the clock will stop while they get this chain set. And now the clock starts moving even before the chains are set. I don't think they're supposed to do that, Dan. Start the clock before the chains are set. But anyway, 4:12 and counting, 1st and 10 from the Bronco 35 for Antioch. Panthers on the march again. Handoff, Hamilton trying to get up the middle, stacked up there, and there's Hamilton again. Talk about a workhorse, Dan. 128 yards last week in the first half. You talk about a smooth runner with great vision, but also, Dan, you've got to mention the power. I mean, look at that, just pushing the pile. They've got him, but they just can't get him on the ground.
He's already got more yards tonight than he had in the first half last week, and last week they were in a game where they won 49-7. Right now they're still in a football game here, down up just by 5 points.
I formation, let's spread offense. Throw to the far side. That's going to be caught, and a tackle made. And Bryce Dawson making the catch that time, and he looks like he's going to have another 1st down for Antioch.
Well, you can see just coming back to the ball, little wheel route here. Dawson makes the catch, has a couple of blockers, finds a seam, and gets another nice gain of yardage there for the Antioch Panthers. Antioch just moving the ball, only 2 negative plays with yardage so far, negative yards.
1st down and 10 for the Panthers, Dan, and you saw when he made that little wheel play and kind of almost turns into a bubble screen because the receivers go upfield, the defenders go with them. He makes that little wheel, and he's wide open with room to run. All right, first down and 10 for the Panthers. Operating from about the 20-yard line, and now whistles blow this play dead.
Might be too much time or a motion.
Let's see, delay of game. No, it's going to be illegal procedure against the Antioch offense. It'll cost them 5 yards.
Well, we have a little bit of time here, Tony. We mentioned the coaches on each side, Antioch, John Lucido, Brett Dudley, Mark Libby, Tim Galley. Now, there's a name. He was Antioch's head coach back in the 80s. He was the principal at Pittsburgh High School in the 90s, and just recently when we were broadcasting games, he was over there. And what a job they did rebuilding that high school at Pittsburgh. Leith Fall, Willie Stembridge, Mike Weiscarver, and Louis Roach, my old friend, is the principal at Antioch High School.
All right, Hamilton going to get it. No, Carthon going to keep it. Got a couple of yards. And he's going to get a few yards back from that penalty, and that's all. So a pretty good defensive stop there by the Broncos. So Antioch 1-0. They beat Franklin of Stockton last week. Pittsburgh a win as well. They're 1-0. Beat Clayton Valley 40-27 in a shootout.
The big shock last week was the 29-28 Amador win over Fremont. You know, Fremont's got that three-headed monster out there with Mays and Washington, and that was a kind of shocker that they lost that game.
Carthon with some room, and he's going to be submarine tackled. And the tackle made that time by Stephen Cunha, I think number 3, to make the stop, along with Austin Lemack, number 24. Let's take another look. You know, there's Cunha with that submarine. Lemack was on the scene.
Lemack was on the scene, right?
Get a piece of him. Third down and 7 for the Panthers. Carthon rolling to his right, rolling, fires, and it's going to be caught. Beautiful leaping catch that time by number 7, Darian Jones. And what a play by Darian Jones, going up to get that one and helping out his quarterback. Take another look down. This ball is thrown high, but look at Darian Jones go and get it.
Wow. That was all about Jones getting that ball, because that throw over, and especially at this level, that's pretty much sailing through the end zone.
So that will be first down. Carthon, touchdown!
And a late penalty flag.
That looks like it was on the tackle, so I'm thinking that's going to be against the defense, and this touchdown will count.
No, look, maybe a block in the back.
Boy, it looked like they made it right when the tackle had occurred in the end zone.
Yeah, it's a block in the back.
Against Antioch. Good call, Dan. So the Panthers upset. Looked like it was going to be a touchdown.
Well, there's a hold, so they got away with that. Look at him holding his hand up right there. I think it was on Jones, who just made the catch. He blocked this guy on dance under. I couldn't get his number. He blocked him in the back, and that allowed him not to come up and make that tackle on Carthon. So a good call there. It
looked like Max Moore, number 69, the 275-pound senior, was held on that play. And
it doesn't look like Max Moore was held, Tony. He was held. When the linesman fights through and then raises his hand, he's being held.
Completely had the arms wrapped around him, so a nice play by Moore to draw that penalty. Carthon rolling left, gets back into a right-handed throwing position and wants to throw, but is swarmed under by a host of Bronco defenders.
No. One of the Broncos came up with the ball, but I believe it was after the play was blown dead.
Boy, that was Max Moore in on that tackle again. Max Moore, the big guy coming up from that defensive line spot, Dan, all of a sudden getting very active in this game. Take a look. He wanted to throw that time, Dan, but then really swarmed under. And there's Max Moore, number 69, the first Bronco to get to him.
Did you see Tavaki? Now, Tavaki goes about 170, and he was running at a guy that weighs 100 pounds more, and he kind of said, I think I'm going to run around him.
Fires. This ball is going to be tipped up in the air and then caught. No, they're going to say incomplete. Boy, it looked like Darian Jones, again, nearly off the tip, had this as a completion. I thought this was going to be an interception. Tipped.
Oh, right.
And then a good call. It did hit the ground. So the referee's right on that play, but Jones heads up, could not come up with the football.
Well, there's not a lot of space in that defensive backfield. Carthon has had to make some good throws, but the Northgate defensive backs, especially Tony, in a 3-5-3, you only got 3 guys back there. You're relying on your linebackers to pick up some of these guys. And Antioch's running things through their, whether they're playing some sort of zone, letting guys go. I watched Antioch practice the other day, and if their linebackers didn't follow the wide receivers, they were wide open. So someone is done a good job scouting this out. Someone they have, and it's hard to pick up right at the. It's a little easier to do it off a replay because of the fact that it's a lot of motion going on. It's not a lot of isolated routes. It's like putting numbers together in the middle of the field.
3rd down and 13. They need the 2-yard line. Hamilton going to get it. Left side, tries to turn the corner, cuts it back up inside. He's going to be hit and stopped. He's going to get a couple of yards down inside the 10-yard line, but that will bring up 4th down. Now here begs the question. You do have a kicker in Hunter Carthon as we see this kind of reverse going the other way. Carthon can kick field goals, Dan, so let's see what the Panthers decide to do.
And you saw that was a little reverse draw there, and it was wide open at the beginning. And Northgate made a nice play, the defenders on that side of the field, to come up and identify that play, because if it wasn't for one of those outside guys, he would have walked into the end zone. I think Antioch calls a timeout here. 31 seconds to go in the first half, 19-14. What a game so far. And the only reason this game, one punt, it's almost like, this reminds me of Tony, and I know some people actually follow the game. Arena football is like this. You score on almost every single possession. And it's always that one possession that kills you. And usually the team that doesn't score on the one possession in the first half, if they don't get the second half kickoff, they have no chance of coming back because of the fact, there's so much offense. And that's what this game just kind of reminded me of. There has been hardly any defense.
Well, there has been some individual plays.
There's been great individual plays, but it just looks like there has been nothing to just shut someone down consistently play after play. You get one good play, you get 7 over here.
Right.
You get 3 over here, you get 14 down the middle. I don't say that. I'm not saying everyone's just standing around and no one's playing defense. But I am saying that I'm sure the defensive coordinators, both of them, are probably thinking, what can I do at halftime? What adjustments can I make to stop these guys? Because both teams have had great offensive first halves. Antioch obviously a little bit better. Tony, what I like about tonight is, like we mentioned early in the broadcast, that we shouldn't be playing football today because it's August 31st and it's still summer. But look at that. It kind of looks like November already.
The autumn wind is a raider.
Yes. Well,
it definitely looks like football. It looks and feels very much like football weather. This is supposed to be the Indian summer. I don't know what's going on with the weather here these last several years.
It's supposed to warm up again on Sunday, so I'm sure it'll. They're going for the field goal.
They are going to kick it here, Dan. So that'll be Carthon will come in and try to hit a field goal here. Alex Obius, number 12, will hold. And this ball is going to be spotted about the 12-yard line, so about a 22-yard field goal, well within Carthon's range. Snap a little high, the hold, the kick is up, the kick is no good.
Wow.
Wide right.
So another thing that has failed both teams really has been the kicking game. Antioch has missed an extra point. They missed a field goal. And Northgate really has got nothing on either side of the ball kicking. They're pooching the ball, and they're also letting basically the kick go into the end zone. So kicking has not been spectacular so far tonight, and that could come back to haunt both teams.
Yeah, and both teams have missed a 2-point conversion as well, so more of the special teams going there. But a break for the Broncos. There's a nice defensive stand there. They prevented the touchdown, forced the 4th down and the field goal try from 22 yards out. It's no good, so they take over on defense. They take over here on offense, and the ball comes out to the 20-yard line. 1st down and 10 for the Broncos. They want to go here to the right side. Flag on the play. That's probably going to mean holding as the side judge throws it, as the ball was coming here to the near side with Tavaki running the football. The laundry flies, and I'm thinking this is going to go against the Broncos, and we'll get the call here.
And also, number 22, Jimmy Haynes, or Eric Haynes, looked at the ref like, it was me, huh? That usually kind of a giveaway.
Yeah, you got to play with more of that poker face.
Yes, don't give it up so early, kid.
Still have seen no signal as of yet. There's Coach Lowell getting an explanation.
I don't know if you noticed in this, and what a great night it was last night, the final exhibition football game. There are no more fake football games. Thank God for that. Tonight we have Stanford's playing San Jose State tonight on Friday night, and a lot of high school games. And tomorrow Cal opens the new stadium.
And I will be there at that revamped stadium and Memorial Stadium. I'll get a chance to see I'm going to get a chance to see Cal.
Beautiful job they did down there.
right, first down and 15 now. Running straight ahead, going to pick up a few yards. Trying to get some of that penalty back. Get it back close to the original line of scrimmage. And that will do it for the second quarter. So after a wonderful first half of play, the Antioch Panthers lead the Northgate Broncos by a score of 19-14. Come on back, we'll have the second half for you coming up right after this on CCTV and WCTV.
Do you want to learn more about your environment and the wildlife around you? Become an open space adventurer. Visit www.walnut-creek.org/walks to download your Open Space Adventurer Passport. It will have all the instructions you'll need to get started. Complete the passport and earn your certificate, signed by Mayor Bob Simmons.
The best thing about Walnut Creek Open Space is getting together with friends and family. It's a great excuse to bring out your kids, like my son here. He gets an opportunity to see snakes, all kinds of wildlife, coyotes, deer, you name it. It's out here. It's a great time. Good reason to get the kids away from the video games.
You will also receive a walking whistle and lanyard for a job well done. Children must be 12 years of age or younger. For more information, go to www.walnut-creek.org/walks or call 943-5895. We'll see you on the trail.
Back at Northgate High School, the halftime score is Antioch 19, Northgate 14. Dan Wall alongside Antioch principal Louis Rocha. And Louis, we go back so far that I think elementary school is about the time we met.
I think so. In fact, I think I played third base when you pitched a no-hitter, wasn't that?
We did play.
Yeah, I think we did play.
We did play Babe Ruth together. That is true. We've been friends for a long time. Just a little background for you. You went to Antioch. You played at Antioch. And what do you think of the effort so far of the Panthers here in the first half?
It's a young season. I think our kids are playing well. First couple games, there's always working out the nervousness and the flags and the jumping off sides. But I think Coach Lucido is doing a great job getting the team ready for this year, and we're pretty excited about our possibilities. We went to the playoffs last year, and I believe we have a good chance to go this year, so we're pretty excited.
Yeah, I do too. It looks like an old school Antioch kind of football team out there tonight. But the big thing on everyone's mind in Antioch is, are you going to get this bond measure passed? Now, we had the one in June that failed by just 31 votes.
31 votes.
31 votes, kind of like losing in overtime by 1 point. And now it's back on the ballot again in November. Tell everyone what you're looking for.
Well, Antioch High School was built in 1954, and so there's been about 78 graduating classes that have gone through the old campus, like you and I and many others. And so after so many years, the school just needs to be renovated, needs a facelift. And so things have changed over the years. Our campus used to be an open campus, and now our campus is closed. So we don't have the cafeteria facilities to feed all of our students at one time. We can only seat 300 kids, and we have 2,000 students. So obviously that doesn't work. The facilities and athletics, our swimming pool, it's the same swimming pool that you probably learned how to swim, same with me. It's not really made, wasn't built for high school competition of today. So our kids are at a disadvantage because they can't host swim events, water polo matches at our own school. They have to be on the road. Same thing goes with our track and field. Our track was built in the 50s, still a yard mark track, dirt, cinder, rock. So our school just has a lot of history, but it's old and needs to be upgraded. So we're looking at classroom renovation, a new cafeteria, change the entrance to the front of the campus, and improve security systems. When you look at the riverfront of the original high schools, Alhambra and Martinez, Pittsburgh High School and Pittsburgh, Liberty and Brentwood, and then of course Antioch High School. We're the last school on the Highway 4 corridor that has not been renovated. So we think our kids deserve a better facility, moving our 50s high school into the 21st century. We think our kids deserve better. We're going to wall-to-wall academies, and as we move forward and prepare our kids for the future, we feel like we need to have a campus that supports our efforts. And we believe the voters will come out and support us in our efforts because, when we had the June ballot, There was only 8,000 people that voted out of 30,000 registered voters. It was a very low turnout. I believe that with the presidential election, there'll be a much bigger turnout, and we intend to get the word out and campaign harder to get the word out. People disagree on some things, but the one thing they don't disagree on is that Antioch High School has a lot of facility needs and upgrades.
Absolutely, and one of the big ones would be a new football field.
Absolutely, you know, Gino Marchetti is in the Hall of Fame. I mean, we have 10 alumni who played in the NFL in that stadium. A number of exceptional athletes, track and field. You know, back when Mike Hurd was the coach.
Coach Hurd, yes.
Just a lot of history. So basically, I think our student athletes deserve a facility where they can compete at home and not have to always be the road team. And I think our teachers who are working very hard to develop integrated lessons to support academy development could benefit from new technology, new classroom renovations, and so forth. So I'm excited about the possibility. I look forward to the challenge, and I believe we're going to get it done this time.
Let's hope that you do. Louis, it's great seeing you as always. Let us know how it turns out. I'm sure we'll read about it in the paper. We'll be back with the second half of football action from Walnut Creek after this timeout.
Northern California's largest community arts program is here in Walnut Creek.
We have over 180 professionals teaching music, dance, drama, and visual arts.
With over 680 classes, workshops, and events.
There are classes for youth, teens, and adults.
With opportunities for beginners through professionals.
Find your spark.
Learn, inspire, grow.
All right, Antioch Panthers leading the Northgate Broncos 19-14. Anthony Schultz along with Dan Wall on a moon-filled night here in Walnut Creek. And you wouldn't know to look at it, Dan, but it's August. It's supposed to be the Indian summer.
It's Labor Day weekend, Tony, and I had to get my parka out to come to the game tonight.
It is cold tonight, but one thing that is not cold, Dan, and that is the offenses of these two schools.
427 yards. Here's that touchdown run by Hamilton that he broke, as you mentioned to me earlier, Lon Simmons like in the call here. You want to do it, Tony?
Gets away again. Dives, touchdown. Well, he didn't dive, but on that Lon Simmons call, he dove.
Well, I think he fell.
He stumbled, but Lon said he dove. But now here's Haynes answering back from 6 yards out. There's a touchdown there. That made it 14-13 Northgate lead. And then to finish out that first half scoring, there is Carthon going in from, again, is 6 yards out. Point after, no good. And, Dan, that's where we stand, 19-14. A tough one if you're a defensive coordinator on the defensive side, but a beautiful game to watch if you like offense.
If you like offense, Antioch 12 first downs to 7, 245 total yards to 182 for Northgate. Of course, Northgate had one less big drive than Antioch, even though Antioch came up short. Antioch's ran for 202 and passed for 43. Northgate ran for 155, passed for 27. Each team has 3 penalties, only 1 punt in the game. Hamilton, 15 carries for 148 yards and a touchdown. Carthon, 12 carries for 50. They've combined for 198 of the 202 Antioch yards on the ground, Tony. And Pelletiers rushed for 55 yards, thrown for 27 for the Broncos. Should be an interesting second half of action here tonight between these two teams that did play back in the old DVAL. Now Northgate's in the new DVAL, and in the old BVAL, and Antioch's in the new BVAL. And they were in the league, and we played Northgate back when I was in high school. That was a long time ago, Tony, when I was in high school. And Dave Jackson doesn't remember because that was a way long time ago when he was in high school, but he was around back in those days too.
Well, talking about the DVAL, Northgate with the win against San Marin, 33-26. Concord also got a win. Mount D, they actually start their season against San Lorenzo tonight. College Park, YV, and Clayton Valley, all losers in that first week. That rounds out the DVAL, what happened in the first week of the 2012 season. Let's get underway here for the third quarter. And to start it off, Carthong going to kick off for the Broncos. They lead it by 5. Kicking off for the Panthers, rather, as the Broncos get it first here to start the second half. Carthong's kick deep, going to be taken about the 5-yard line. 5, 10, 15, 20. Tackle broken, 25. Hit and pulling them back to past the 30-yard line to about the 32-yard line. 27 yards on the return for number 2, Brandon Lee.
Antioch obviously a little bit better in their kicking game, getting the ball deep. That time, though, maybe going against a little bit of a wind and not able to get it into the end zone as they had the previous 2 times. And Lee made a nice return up the middle. Really did a lot on his own on that one.
Really did, able to push that pile. So a nice return for Brandon Lee and a pretty good field position to start here for the Broncos. They're going to go back to that double wing and that sort of veer offense, the hot potato pitch again, and they're going to pitch it. Going to go up the middle, and that is going to be Eric Haynes, who had that touchdown earlier. And Haynes going to pick up a couple of yards, get to about the 35-yard line, call it second down and 8.
Someone asked me once, why did you guys call that the hot potato pitch? Well, if you watch it, it looks like, when you get a hot potato, you just toss it because they got to get it back, and the quarterback has to get out in front to block. So,
well, remember that game we played it in elementary school in the old days. There's another pitch coming to the near side this time. Turns the corner, gets around and picks up what close to be a first down, and that is number 12, Jimmy Sharp. And then Larry Larson, the captain, number 42, came up to make the stop.
Good blocks that time. Yeah, Sharp outside, makes a nice cutback. And Larson, one of the team captains, comes over, makes the tackle. It's going to be a first down at about the 45. So Northgate's still in this ball game. If Antioch had scored a touchdown, they'd been 2 touchdowns down, Tony, but they're still in this one, down 5 at home.
Here we go, fake. Tavaki going to go up the middle, breaks a tackle and gets to the 50, lost the football, and it's going to be recovered by Antioch. First down, Panthers. And coming out of the pile with it for Antioch, looked like that was number 11, Leonard Grillo, coming out with the ball. Let's check out Tavaki here on the replay. Dan bumps into his own man and then stripped. It looked like number 55.
Carthong stripped it. Grillo came all the way from the far end position over to recover it, and Antioch takes over right at midfield.
It looked like number 55, Beltram, reached up there and got a piece of that ball. So that's the first turnover of the game. And Antioch the beneficiary as Tavaki coughs it up from the 49-yard line. 1st and 10 here for Antioch. Handoff inside. That's going to be Hamilton. He is going to get down to the 45-yard line of the Broncos. A gain of about 6. We'll call it second down and 4. So a big turn of events here, Dan, as the Panthers come up with the nice play on defense to take it away. You talked about no defense, Dan, or not a lot of defense. We saw some there. Let's see if Antioch can take advantage of their defensive effort with some offense here. Spread formation on second down. Going to throw to the far side. Pass is low, but caught. Spinning away from a tackle that time and going to get pick up a few yards. That's Darian Jones, number 7, who's made a couple of nice catches today. And that time, Dan, he took that low pass. Didn't look like there was a whole lot he could do with it, but then was able to make a nice spin.
I was going to say, you kind of leave him alone out here all by himself. It depends on the block, and there wasn't one. And so here is the tackler coming in. He does break one tackle, but too many pursuers over there to short gain. And Antioch, though, even after that play, don't have to go very far for a first down.
3rd down and 3. They're going to throw. There's that wheel route again, and that is going to be close to a first down. Very close to a first down. The catch made by number 15, Bryce Dawson. And that's the second time they've shown that wheel play, Dan, where they've got the receivers on one side here. And then you're going to have the one receiver just kind of peel away from it. And, boy, it looked like there was a block out there before the ball was in the air by Corey Disroysers. And, boy, that looked like it was very close to being illegal, Dan.
You know what they say, Tony? It ain't cheating if you don't get caught.
They do say that, Dan.
I was going to say, but there's been lots of people getting caught lately.
First down and 10 from the 40-yard line. Hamilton up the middle trying to push the pile and does for about 3 yards.
Well, they're getting good blocks at the line of scrimmage, and then Hamilton, not only does he find the hole, but he always tends to find a couple of guys he can hit and knock back, and that's the big thing. He's getting 2 or 3 more yards on every carry because he's a horse.
He's
just
really not a guy that's looking to make you miss.
No. He I think his whole object in life is to hit somebody.
Second down. Carthon turns the corner to the near side, picks up a first down, still going, and Carthon finally dragged down as he's going to get inside the 20-yard line down to about the 18.
And it looks like a penalty flag on the play for a late hit. Let's look. Carthon's another guy. For a quarterback, he's not looking to get out of anyone's way.
About a 20-yard gain here by Carthon.
What a block.
And boy, look at that.
What a block there.
Trying to see again who that was who made that block, but he got his guy on the ground, Dan.
Well, let's see here at the very end. Oh, right there. You saw that late Bronco arriving, and that's where the penalty flag came in.
First and goal. Hamilton wants to go up the middle. Now cuts it to the outside. Being chased and tripped up and knocked down. Beautiful play. It looked like number 3. I thought it was number 3, Stephen Cuneo, who got out there to make the trip. Let's take another look. Actually, it was number 1, Jake Smith, who got in there. Cuneo was on the scene, but it was Smith who was able to pursue the play and just get a piece of the ball carrier, Hamilton, to bring him down. Nice play.
Athlete versus athlete there. Hamilton couldn't get outside. And a nice, that was kind of a desperate attempt, but it worked.
Carthon wants to throw, looks for the end zone. It's intercepted by the Broncos at the 5-yard line. The Broncos have taken the ball away. It's Steve Cuneo? No, it's Mitchell Mulgrad.
No, it was Cuneo.
It was Stephen Cuneo, number 3. So Cuneo comes up with a big play, and take another look here. Carthon throws a little bit of a wobble, but right to him as Cuneo jumps the route and makes the interception. And how about that? Defense on both sides.
That's the kind of pass Alex Smith used to throw. You know what I'm saying? He got away from it last year. That's the kind you fling into the end zone. You get rid of the ball. You still have 2 downs from the 5-yard line. That was too many defenders, not enough open white jerseys, and an interception. And now Northgate still down 8 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Here's the pitch, trying to turn the corner, and does. Broken tackle. Out to the far side, out across the 35.
Oh, what a tackle over there.
And finally knocked out of bounds. Alex Obias.
It's Obias. Tony, he
me.
knocked Haynes halfway to the Antioch stands on that one. Watch
look
this.
At Haynes here. Breaks a tackle, gets away. Nice cut.
So look at, okay, there's Jones. He can't tackle him. I take that back. That was Larson. It looked like Obias. And yeah, wow. He finished that one, but not after a big gain.
So a big play for the Broncos. They're now looking to go right up the middle, pick up a couple of yards. They're on first down. West Coast Jamboree coming this December, the best in girls high school basketball. For more information, call 925-706-2802 or go to the website westcoastjamboree.com.
Maybe we can do some of those games, Tony.
That's what the plan is.
I used to love, we did some games out there. We're talking about pro athletes. We had a number of college athletes that played in those games.
Peltier completes the pass. Out to number 1, Jake Smith, and he's out to the 40-yard line. That's going to be a gain of about 11 yards and a first down. So Peltier hits Jake Smith, his tight end, and that is good enough for a first down. And they quickly come back to the line, Dan, in that veer look. Hot potato pitch, trying to go up the middle, picks up a couple of yards.
That was sharp, and he lost control of the ball, Tony, a little bit there, and that kind of made him tentative as he hit the hole. Antioch, if they lose this game, they got to look at these last 2 drives where they gained over 150 yards and came up with no points as their downfall.
That's right. They moved the ball, were forced to kick a field goal, missed the field goal, then moved the ball again. Fumble. Ball's on the ground, picked up by the Broncos, and then swarmed under by defenders. And now flags fly here. This one coming from the back judge, Dan, on the other side of the field.
Well, Pelletier got tackled by 3 guys that weigh about 800 pounds. So I don't think it felt very good.
When you drop the ball first and you have to take time to pick it up, you're going to be swarmed under, and he was. It's going to be a face mask on the defense.
Now, I got to tell you, there's good face masks and there's bad face masks. That was a bad face mask penalty. You do not want to have a face mask penalty.
Or the back judge threw that one down. He looked so far away from the play.
And you don't want to have a face mask penalty on a fumble in the backfield, Tony, because there was absolutely nothing going on with that play. Nothing at all.
So this is going to bring up 2nd down and 3 from the 48-yard line. Here's Haynes. Tries the middle, breaks a tackle. Haynes still on his feet inside the 40 and then upended about the 38-yard line. It looked like Hamilton, number 32, was there on the tackle, and the Bronco fans don't like the way this play ended. Very unhappy with the way Hamilton made the tackle on Haynes, and here it is again. He's going to come up right here at the end and then just kind of lift and then take him down. Boy, that was a hard takedown that time.
I know that they didn't like it, but I got no problem with it. That's football right there, folks. They've taken too much of that kind of act. Now, if you slam a guy down on his head or, hit a guy in the head, but yeah, you pick a guy up like that, take him down, hit him on his back, he got right back
really
up.
Lucky that Darian Jones, I believe it was Darian Jones, number 7, Dan, who was also here to kind of break the fall. Take a look at Hamilton wrestling him down. And there's Jones to kind of really break the fall a little bit, or that could have been a lot more painful than it was.
It looked a little bit like The Undertaker and Kane on Monday Night Raw with a double back drop, or what they call that, the choke slam, I think it is, Tony. I'm a big wrestling
But then
fan.
we had a penalty here against the Broncos that backed him up. And in unison, Dan, I love that. In unison, they all take a look at their wristbands. Okay, 1st and 15 following the penalty now. Hot potato pitch again. Tavaki wants the far side. He turns the corner 40. Hit and bang down inside the 35 and about the 32-yard line. And Darian Jones, number 7, coming up to make the tackle.
A lot of times the hot potato pitch does not take you outside the tackles, but that time they did run outside, and Tavaki's good speed to get out there. We haven't seen a lot of Tavaki. He ran for over 100 yards. You saw Teixeira.
Eric Metza Medina, number 21, coming in there to make that seal block on the inside to allow Tavaki to get to the outside. 2nd down and 6 now from the 34-yard line. Pelletier trying to go up the middle, and he's going to pick up a yard or 2, stacked up there nicely on the interior of that defensive line. Clock continued to run, 5:52 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Tony, I'd like to see more high school sports on television out here. Nothing against what they've done at the other channels, but do you really want to see some team from Petaluma play a team from Stockton? I don't want. I want to see our teams play.
When you're from Contra Costa County, you want to watch Contra Costa County teams. When you're from Marin County,
athletics here.
You know,
rivalries. A lot of teams. Since Antioch's been in like 14 different leagues, we've played all these teams over the years.
Tavaki going to get it on the pitch. Flags fly. Tavaki's going to be bottled up in the middle. He does look like he has 1st down yardage, but it's going to be, it looks like illegal motion going against the offense. It's going to go against the Broncos, and that will negate a 1st down. Now, what you said, Dan, remember back in the old days when we had all those trucks, I'm going to try to figure out what was going on here. And you and Matt and Steve Sanchez doing a lot of games on a regular basis. And then when they changed it, you talked about how people were coming up to you, hey, how come you guys aren't doing the games? That happened to me not only here, but in Marin County as well. And then so many people also tell me the same thing. Hey, look, they're only giving me that one game, and it's some teams from San Jose at Bellarmine Prep.
It was interesting to go down there to see what other schools are like. And, and Bellarmine obviously is a very good
school. The Bells, always
school.
A very good team.
But I'm just saying, it's a lot easier for me to talk about Antioch because I went to Antioch and I know a lot of these guys. It's a lot easier for me to talk about Northgate because I played baseball against the Broncos and I played basketball in the old gym with the rubber floor. If you remember that gym, Tony, it was a classic gym. You couldn't hear the ball dribble on it, so you never know if you had possession of it or not.
So this penalty against the Broncos will back them up. They're going to be outside the Antioch 35 to about the 37-yard line. They're going to call it 3rd down and 9 here. They need to get it to the Panther 28. Clock starts to roll. Looked like Pelletier was trying to draw the Panthers offside. Now looking toward the sideline to get another call. The Broncos better hurry up or they're going to hit with a delay of game call. They're back in the spread formation. Pelletier going up the middle, and he's going to be stopped after picking up about 3 yards. So this is going to bring up now 4th down and call it about 6.
I think they thought they saw something in the middle of the Antioch defense. It was a quarterback draw call right up the middle, and not much there. I don't think that there will be, unless it's a really long situation, I don't think you're going to see any punters for the rest of the game, Tony.
No, this far on the Antioch sideline, there's certainly no reason to punt here. It's one of those things, Dan, too long for a field goal, too short for a punt. Kind of a no-brainer here for the offense. You go for it in this situation, and they will. All right, 4th down. 4th down and 6. They need to get to the 28-yard line. Low snap. Pelletier rolls, fires, caught, and then incomplete. The ball was caught there momentarily by Jake Smith. He had to go down to get it. In Jake's defense, that was not a very well-thrown pass. Unable to come up with the low throw, and 4th down now turns into 1st down the other way for Antioch. And all of a sudden, Dan, and what a great game this has been, all offense in the first half, 4:12 to go here in the third quarter. And so far in the third, we've seen defense on both sides with takeaways and now on downs.
Some defense, but also mistakes from both teams. Penalties have hurt both teams in the second half. So, but the defense has performed, and that's a trend. You know, you get in at halftime and you make adjustments and you talk about what happened in the first half, and you're a little bit more familiar with what you're seeing, because it's hard to replicate these two offenses in practice. You have to have the kind of personnel that does this kind of stuff, and it's very difficult.
Hamilton on 1st down, bottled up, and he'll be taken down. So Hamilton, nowhere to go that time. And that looked like it was number 66, Scott Schneider for Northgate, coming up to make that stop as they were able to bottle Hamilton up behind the line of scrimmage. So he's going to lose about 3 yards. They're going to call that 2nd down and 13.
As I mentioned, Tony, a little weird watching Northgate tonight in all black. Usually the maroon and the gold, which you see in their helmets and their numbers, but all black for the Broncos tonight.
Carthong throws. This is going to be in and out of the hands of the receiver. That was number 9, Corey Desroysers, going up, and he had to kind of turn around, and awkwardly that time almost came up with a great catch. Here's the Carthong throw. A little bit high and a little behind him, Dan.
I would say just watching Carthong a little bit has a little bit of work to do with his footwork. He seems to be throwing either off the front foot before he needs to or off the back foot, and that's why the ball's saying a little bit. We had heard he does have a few problems throwing the deep pass, and we've seen that tonight.
Carthong under pressure. Ball is caught at the 29, 35, and across the 40.
Same play, but this time they might have caught him for that block, because there was a contact before the pass was caught, and this might be what they missed the last time, Tony, we talked about on this wheel route.
Yeah, Bryce Dawson made the catch, picked up some yardage, but are they blocking early? They're going to call it a hold. So not an illegal block, but a hold. We'll see where we can see it. And boy, it might have been on the interior.
I think it's the guy that got up and went like this. If you see on the replay, one of the Bronco linemen in the middle was knocked down and kind of held his arms up like, was that holding?
So after they sort this penalty out.
Well, if they take the play, it's 3rd and 12. Actually, it should be 4th and 12. But they're going to push them back, Tony.
They are going to push them back. They pick up the flag here. Actually, they're going to accept the penalty. Antioch's going to back up. So the good news is they're going to get the down over again, Dan. The bad news is they're going to be several yards further back. They're going to take this from the spot of the foul. And now, boy, look what they have to get here, Dan. They still need the 44-yard line for a 1st down, and they're lined up at the 21-yard line here.
As in honor of our good friend Steve Sanchez, it's 3rd in the Shark Tank right now, Tony.
3rd and 23. Carthong on the run. Now he's going to take off. Gets away from one tackler, then hit and bang down. So Carthong picks up some yards here, but it's going to be 4th and a long way to go. So the penalty really hurts the Panthers here, and they're going to have to punt the football with 3:05 to go. So a wide open first half, but more of a closed down third quarter here. And here's Carthong getting some blocks here, Dan, but just can't find any room. And with that far to go, really playing against a stacked deck.
And the first punt for Antioch here with 2:45 to go in the third quarter.
Now they back up from a short position, kicks the ball away. This one's going to hang up. It's going to bounce and take a nice Antioch bounce. from about the 48-yard line. It's going to bounce all the way down to about the 37, so they're going to pick up 11 more yards on that bounce. So a good decision there to punt the football. And the Broncos, however, going to have good field position, Dan, and going to take the lead.
What?
Right. Coach, 65.
Tony, I
65.
didn't get to do it earlier. I wanted to dedicate this game to a very special person, my mother. She passed away 3.5 months ago, and we miss Mom. But my mom was one of my biggest fans. She used to love to watch the games. She loved to listen to you and I on the TV. And I just wanted to dedicate the game to her. And another good friend of ours, Bob Helms, whose son played at Antioch. Both his sons, Derek was a great running back at Antioch and actually had one of the biggest Big Little games in the history of that series. He passed away this week, so we wanted to say, send our condolences out to the Helms family as well.
Thank you for doing that, Dan. Hand off the inside. Haynes is going to get hit and banged down, and he may have made it back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. So no gain on the play for the Broncos. That'll bring up second down and 10.
As I mentioned, Tony, it looks like people are just getting familiar with what the other teams are doing, and that happens in this sort of game. Rocco's Restaurant and Pizzeria, good sponsor, good friends, good pizza. And for those of you that stay up later than me, good adult beverages.
Well, we had a fumble. Antioch made a nice play to take it away, and then after an Antioch drive, the interception by Steve Cuneo for the Broncos to take one away from the Panthers. Short drop throw, catch is made, bang down. Brandon Lee makes the catch, and he is going to get inside the 45-yard line.
And we have an injured player. That's Hamilton, who's down. Watch the hit right here. That was a big hit, but you know, Tony, this is one of those situations. Now, if you read the story in the Times yesterday about the concussion situation, you were talking about everything that's going on with concussions and bounties and the problems that we're having in football. And this could be one of those situations. Hamilton hit him very hard. It looked like it was a helmet hit, not helmet to helmet, but helmet to shoulder. If it hadn't been for Hamilton, Lee might have scored on that play. But
dangerous situation here.
Everyone's taken a knee because Hamilton hasn't moved since the hit, and let's just hope that he's okay. But that is a big. Yeah, I think we should take another look at it to see if we can detect the injury. Here's Lee, and you can just see right here. Maybe it even was a little bit helmet to helmet.
To the side of the helmet.
Yeah. And there's Hamilton going down right there, and he stayed down. Now that just might be sometimes you just want to check yourself. It looks like people are already getting up around him, which
I'm looking
would
down
be
here,
good news.
And I seem to.
He still hasn't moved. Now they're looking. He might not be moving. I hope this is not
this
serious.
is a scary situation here.
We did that game a number of years ago over at DVC, where the Antioch player got almost got paralyzed on the AstroTurf, and that's why it had to be airlifted away, and that's why they went to the new field at DVC, because the AstroTurf was just too hard. Here, this had nothing to do with the field, but you never want to see a young kid out here get hurt.
And kind of turned him over here, Dan, which I want to say is a good sign, because if you think it's a serious neck injury, you want to keep him immobilized as much as possible.
You'd never want to move him. This is Antioch's big horse and running back, and it's another thing. Just talking about the strategy of the game, Tony, but this is why sometimes you don't want to play your best offensive players on defense, and Antioch uses Hamilton and Carthon on defense. And tonight they're using Carthon still on defense. Last week they were able to take him out of the game early, probably both of them because they were ahead by so much, but tonight they're in a game, they're up by 5 with a minute 44 to go in the third quarter. Let's just hope he's doing okay.
Dangerous situation here. Albert Hamilton, after making a tackle, hitting Jake Smith after a first down catch. And we just hope that Albert Hamilton's going to be okay. We're going to step aside an injury timeout here in Walnut Creek, and we'll be back to Northgate High School in just a moment.
You're free to explore downtown Walnut Creek. Shopping, dining, and entertainment are only a stop away on the free ride. Catch the free ride trolley from BART, Broadway Plaza, the Leisure Center, or one of its many downtown stops. The free ride stops every 15 minutes to keep your day moving. Check out cccta.org for more information on how you are free to explore downtown Walnut Creek.
All right, we have returned, and we all breathe a sigh of relief. You hear the cheering from both sides as Elbert Hamilton on his own power now running off the field. There you see number 32 going off. And Dan, all I can say is, whew.
Yes.
I'll tell you, we love these games, Dan, but one of the reasons we love them is for the entertainment value. But when you see something like that, it takes you quickly back to reality, and that's not why we like sports, especially football.
Well, the sad thing about football lately, as we mentioned with the bounties and with the concussions, is part of the allure of football is the contact, just like in hockey. And but nowadays guys are bigger, they're stronger, and the hits are more damaging.
All right, hot potato pitch. And out inside the 40, reaching out, is Leonard Griot and Eric Haynes. Griot made the tackle, Haynes with the carry. And now Haynes going to come off the field. Now come back on as he gets some signals.
They like to run Haynes left to right with that pitch. He's pretty much been the ball carrier in that set. Now we're back. You can see Haynes and Tavaki are the wide backs, and Sharp is directly behind the quarterback in the double wing right here.
Haynes going to get it again. Goes up the middle, stacked up. Second effort. It's going to get him a couple of more yards. Going to bring up third down. Picked up about 3 or so on the play. It'll bring up third down and 3. We talked about all those injuries, Dan, but you notice that, you hear about these players, ex-NFL players, a lot of them are passing away rather early. Tavaki this time, going to be close, but he didn't get the first down. Tavaki stacked up, and he will not pick up the first down, and it's going to bring up fourth down and about 2 yards to go here, Dan.
I think it was Larson that time, number 42, who came flying in from his linebacker spot and hit Tavaki right about the line of scrimmage. Tony, you'd think watching this game tonight that huddles have been outlawed.
Both teams going very quickly, not huddling, just kind of looking at the sideline, calling the plays at the line of scrimmage. So here we go on fourth down and short. Tavaki, and he's going to have the first down. First down for Northgate.
He got hit at the line of scrimmage, but bounced off and got the extra yards, about a 5-yard gain. You can see the numbers that time, Tony? That is why that double wing works. There were 3 lead blockers out on 2 Antioch Panthers, and that is exactly why he got through the hole and got the first down. And third quarter's over, Tony.
That'll do it for the third quarter. A lot more defense in frame number 3. After 3 quarters, still, it's the Panthers 19, the Broncos 14. Come on back, fourth quarter action coming up from Walnut Creek.
Parking made easy and convenient.
You're good to go.
Now that was easy.
Hi, welcome to Inside Center Rep.
My name is Carrie Lederer, and I'm the curator of exhibitions here at the Bedford Gallery.
Hi there. Welcome to Get Lit.
And that's when I decided to run for the city council.
so exciting.
Hey, Tony, one thing we didn't mention was the Northgate coaches. We talked about the Antioch coaches. I just want to mention Justin Lowell, Ben Ballard, Mike On, Junior Boyle, Jerry Mater, Mike Escobar doing a great job. We haven't talked a lot about it. You know, you talked about in the open how Northgate had been down. They had a great year 2 years ago, went 9-3. Two guys to remember from that team, Cameron Stover and Matt Butler, who did a great job as running backs for the Broncos. This is the best Northgate team I've ever seen, though. I honestly, the execution, the amount of athletes, guys on the field, you saw that incomplete pass. This is the best team I've seen Northgate put on the field in a long time.
It's nice to see them have that talent. I remember, Dan, you know, in the years that we were doing those games where it was kind of like, oh, there's Los Lomas, and oh yeah, there is another team in Walnut Creek. Oh, that's right. They're called the
Broncos.
You almost had to think about it a little bit.
Well, because Ignacio Valley and De La Salle are really in Concord. By about a block.
But they're very close.
Yeah, all these teams are very close. Ignacio, and that's what I thought was funny when they told me that they ran the veer and they ran the double wing. I was like, do all the teams practice together? Because they're all running the same offense.
Second down from the 30. Peltier, and he's going to pick up a couple of yards inside the 30, down to about the 27-yard line. Short gain here for the Broncos. And now some whistles here, and another injury. Got an injured Panther on the field. This time, thank God, it looks like it's just a foot or something.
Maybe a cramp. That's DJ Wall. As far as I know, Tony, no relation. Never know. He was on the freshman team that I coached, and I remember DJ back in those days. He was a very talented kid. He's really fast, really good, can return kicks. He can play the wide receiver spot. He's playing obviously
right eye
tonight for Antioch.
Okay, 28 boot pass. Okay, right eye, 28 boot pass. Okay, drag on the tight end, drag. Okay, backside post. Slayer go.
Outside. Take a look at the Bronco huddle.
No,
I mean, but
the outside guy.
Stand-up guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting instructions.
Okay.
How many steps? Am I allowed to take 2 steps and go?
Can you reach him? We've had tonight.
He gets outside, but
some big plays and a lot of scoring in that. Settled down, got some takeaways in that third quarter, and then things with the injuries have slowed down here a little bit. Here's that West Coast Jamboree coming in December. There you see it. 925-706-2802. WestCoastJamboree.com. Go to the website. Dave Jackson puts that together every year, and we're really trying to put together as many games as we can for the CCTV. With that, we'd like to have a lot of those.
And I don't think the
games.
Sharks are home that week, so maybe I can even do a game or two. Actually, the way things are going, they might even have started the season by December. Anyway, a very nice. We want to tell you all about the programming we were planning on doing here, and we'd like to have more of it, so give us a call. That's actually Tony's number, so he'll take all your calls.
Don't call after 10.
Yeah, you can call me after 2. I'm always up. Tonight, we talked about the balanced rushing attack of Northgate. Just tonight, Tavaki 42 yards, Sharp 40 yards, Pelletier 45 yards, and Haynes 47 yards. That's what you call balance. 4 guys that could all go over 50 just like last week. The only difference is Tavaki really had a breakout game last week with 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. And they haven't really got that kind of production out of anyone back tonight, but they've done enough to stick around, and Antioch has done enough to shoot themselves in the foot to let them stick around.
Antioch had the big drive, Dan. They had to settle for a field goal that was no good. They had another drive that went a long way, and they had the interception near the goal line by Stephen Cunha when the Broncos took one away from them. We were talking about that going up and down the field, and no points to show for those 2 drives. But the bright side for the Panthers, they do lead it 19-14 here, and we're still in the midst of another injury timeout. So I think maybe we should step away here for a moment and come on back to Northgate. A 5-point Panther lead from Walnut Creek.
Last year, over 1,000 Walnut Creek locals lent a hand to build a better community. Join us again this year for Community Service Day on Saturday, October 6th. The day will kick off with a pancake breakfast at Heather Farm Park at 7:30 a.m. Then join one of 50 different projects suitable for children and adults happening all over the city starting at 9 a.m. or noon. Each project will take 4 hours or less to complete. Online registration is now open on the city's website. Go online now and find a cause you care for and lend a hand for a better Walnut Creek.
So the Broncos way back here now. They're going to be set back to about the 42-yard line, and they need to get to about the 21 for a first down. So second down and very long. Second down at about 21 yards here following the penalty for Northgate. And the snap is going to go awry. This one is going to bounce all the way back to the 40-yard line. Pelletier is going to cover it at the 39. And another huge loss for the Broncos. Boy, from the shotgun situation, the shotgun formation, and that Pelletier never had a chance with that snap. It was right down near his feet and way behind him, and he's going to lose 18 yards on the play.
Well, he made the smart play, though, Tony, which is to cover the ball there. So Northgate has basically lost, if you count the fact they were in the end zone, 60 yards on the last 2 plays.
Boy, going backwards, and now punt situation here for the Broncos. Going to kick it away. And this one is going to be angled for the sideline. It's going to hit and go out of bounds and exit stage right at about the 40-yard line of Antioch. So
it's about a 20-yard net there.
Going to get it there. They net about 20 yards, but really, talk about shooting yourselves in the foot. Penalty and then the bad snap sets the Broncos back.
Well, the one play, as they scored the touchdown that was called back, some of the worst tackling in the history of football on that play. But it didn't matter because they had the penalty, the block in the back, which was, as we mentioned, a very bad penalty to take. It was an obvious penalty. And then they hiked the ball through, and they haven't done it at all tonight. There hasn't been one bad quarterback exchange until the fourth quarter. Usually that stuff comes up early in the game.
First down and 10 for the 40 for Antioch. And it's going to be Hamilton, who was injured earlier, makes a nice cutback and a good run there. And Hamilton picks up about 8 yards. Looks like he gets to about the 48-yard line of the Panthers, and that'll bring up second down and 2.
You see engaging, you see blocks, 2 guys on one of the ends. Here's another guy being blocked all the way down the field, and that's why Antioch is able to gain 8 yards right there. And Hamilton, of course, good to see him back in the ballgame.
Well, here's that spread formation, Dan. Got the defense all spread out. They're going in between the tackles. Carthong hands to Hamilton, and Hamilton caught in the backfield this time. Trying to get away, but cannot. Brandon Lee. Jake Smith, number 1, coming up there to make that tackle. And it's going to be a loss of about a yard this time.
And a good tackle down low. You got to take Hamilton off his feet from down low. You can't hit him up high. He's too strong.
Third down now. Carthon going to keep it. Carthon hit and stacked up, but he is going to have the necessary yardage for the first down as he crosses midfield and gets to about the 48-yard line of the Broncos, and that'll be first down for the Panthers, and the clock continues to run. Still a lot of time at 9:30 to go, but remember, it's the Broncos who trail it by 5. So Antioch here with a touchdown could make it a 2-score game here and really put the Broncos in a whole lot of trouble. Carthong from the shotgun, rolling to the near side. Now he's going to take off and run. And runs into some defenders and is pushed out of bounds. Now 3 yards there for Carthon, and he's going to get very close to the 45 at the 46-yard line of the Broncos. So that'll bring up second down and about 7.
Right now, Northgate, they have to limit Antioch to a field goal or less. Because if they go up by 12, and if it takes Antioch another couple minutes to score, it's going to be hard to score 2 touchdowns in 7 minutes.
Carthon to Hamilton up the middle.
Oh.
Bounces off a defender and then finally taken down at about the 35 to about the 34-yard line, and that'll be a first down for the Panthers. So the Panthers moving it here in danger time for the Broncos. As Dan has just said, with their offense, they can ill afford to go down by 2 scores. And look at Hamilton with the patience that
Watch
time.
this hit right here. Hello, and goodbye.
Boy, you talked about the strength.
Man, he is a strong boy for a high school running back.
Ran right into a defender and just knocked him backwards. Hamilton flanking Carthon, 3 wide receivers to that near side, but here's Hamilton up the middle again. Hamilton inside the 20, and Hamilton down to about the 19-yard line. Nick Mastorelli making the tackle, but not before. Another first down here by Antioch and a gain of about 15.
That was a massive hole that time. That was all the Antioch line. You could see it right from the start. You can see how, like I said, when I compared him to Gore earlier, it wasn't necessarily sizing, but it's the way Frank Gore hits the hole. You know when Gore has that hole where he can gain a lot of yards. It's something about the way just the his eyes. Have you ever noticed that about Gore, how he can pick through one hole, and then when he's got a hole, boom, he's gone. 208 yards tonight for Hamilton, Tony.
Hamilton, not this time. Make it about 205 as he's hit for a loss. Number 12, Jimmy Sharp, coming up there to make the tackle for Northgate. So that's going to be a loss of a couple of yards. And that'll take it back to the 20-yard line. So we talked about with the offense of the Broncos, Dan, that running the ball a lot out of that hot potato pitch, not throwing the ball very much. Very tough to overcome a 2-score lead with that type of offense here in the fourth quarter as the clock continues to run.
And now with 7:29 to go here in the fourth quarter. This is a huge set of downs right here, Tony.
2nd down and 11. Carthon from the shotgun. And looked like he faked it to Hamilton, and now whistles and flags stop the play. Delay of game against the Panthers. And the Panthers, well, they're doing the smart thing, Dan. They're trying to chew up as much time as possible, but they need to get the play off a little bit quicker.
And, neither of these teams have too much left of their feet to shoot off here in the second half, Tony. This has been the first half was beautiful to watch. There was a lot of flow. There was a lot of offense, obviously. Defense, not as much, but no fault of the defenses. I think they were getting used to each other. But there have been a lot of sloppy play and a lot of penalties in the second half that have hurt both teams.
Carthon takes the high snap, follows Hamilton through the hole, and he's going to get back down to the 20-yard line and picked up about 5 yards. Gets back from what they lost on that penalty from the previous snap.
Tony, I'm not always the smartest color commentator in the world, but when your running back runs through the hole for 10 yards, you can just follow him and probably get 10 too. That's all I have to say about that play.
Carthon on 3rd down and 10. Hamilton's going to
Forget
get
about it.
Up the middle, cuts to the left side. Hamilton cuts back to the left side and in for the touchdown.
I don't remember in any of the football previews hearing much about this kid. You're going to hear about him after tonight's performance. I mean, this guy is going to go for about 250. That's his 2nd touchdown, and he was hurt and looked like he might not play again. This is a really special athlete, and Antioch is going to win a lot of games if he has games like this.
Well, he was hurt for a while in that first of 2 injury timeouts that we had, but Elbert Hamilton has gotten off the deck. He has scored a touchdown here from 20 yards out, and with 6:46 to go, it is now a 25-14 lead here for the Panthers. Carthon will come up and do now they're going to run the 2-point conversion here. Try to make it a 13-point lead. And Hamilton goes up the middle, and he is going to be denied a 2-point conversion. So 3rd time tonight, Dan, the defenses have denied their opponents a 2-point conversion. So the score remains 25-14, but still a 2-score lead here for Antioch with 6:46 to go, and there you see it.
Tony, Hamilton tonight, 26 carries for 226 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think we have one of our player of the game candidates right there for you. What a game he's had tonight on both sides of the ball. And he also was involved in another controversial play, the play where he picked up the Northgate guy and kind of gave him a body slam back down onto the ground. That was Hamilton as well. So he's been involved in a lot of the action here tonight.
And again, going back to that, as we see the touchdown here, we made a couple of really nice cuts, Dan, to the outside. And you talk about great vision, and that's what you got to have to make those cuts. You got to see where the defense is and cutting away from them. A great run by Hamilton.
You know another thing he has? He's got the vision, he's got the speed, he's got the power. He also knows when to just give up. I don't have anything. Because a lot of times what happens when you you
fumble the
fumble
ball.
or you get hurt because you've got guys. He just kind of knows when, you know what, we're not getting anything on this. Let's just take the 2-yard loss and we'll go on second down. And on second down, they get 10 yards.
And that kind of reminds me of Franco Harris in the old days when he would go out of bounds, and he was criticized a lot in the old days because of that, Dan. And I think that really extended his career and prevented those other mistakes that you're talking about that you get when you try to pick up those extra yards when there's nothing there.
And that's not saying he avoids being hit, because we mentioned that early in the game. But when you know you don't have anything, especially when the play really hasn't even started, it's best just to, especially in this kind of offense, you can't really do that in pro football because you'll end up punting a lot.
Carthon bangs this one back into the end zone, and that is the number 4 times tonight that he has knocked one through the end zone to set the Broncos back at their own 20-yard line, and that is just another great job by Carthon tonight.
And
do you want some more sports here on Walnut Creek TV? Let us know, walnutcreektv.org. You are watching Walnut Creek TV. This is also on CCTV, but we can do it on Walnut Creek TV as well. So let us know if you want to see more sports. We'd like to bring you more.
Last year, Tony, 26-14 Antioch. This year, late in the fourth quarter, 25-14 Antioch.
Well, let's see if they open up the offense a little bit. They're going to pass here, a little hitch pass on that far side. Tackle broken down the far sideline and pushed out of bounds. Oh, that looked like it was going to be a big play. That is number 2, Brandon Lee, on the outside on that little hitch pass, Dan. And you have to say, well, you're going to, if you are the Northgate Broncos and their coaching staff, Dan, you're going to have to open this up a little bit to make up these 2 scores. So at Hamilton, he came in and made the tackle, pushing Brandon Lee out of bounds.
You see the Northgate coaching staff on the sideline, and that's the kind of play they're going to have to run if they really have any hope. They can't go on a long, sustained 6-minute drive because there's only 6 minutes left in the game. And that's another reason that you point out why they pay me the big bucks, Tony, when you figure out stuff like that.
That's why you got your doctorate in footballology, Dan. First down. So pass, throws, far side, and that is Brandon Lee leaping up to try to make the catch at the 45-yard line of Antioch and unable to come up with the ball. And that is going to stop the clock with 6:31 to go. This one is going to come right in your living room. Here's the throw on that deep out, and the ball just thrown a little bit too high. He's well open there. You can see as number 7, Darian Jones, coming over there to provide the coverage, but he was not that close. And really, Dan, it's almost a prevent. You can see the safeties dropping back a little bit further than normal here. And for the Antioch Panthers, let's keep everything in front of us and just not give up the big play. Pitch, hit in the backfield, now stumbling and finally taken down, no gain. And that's Marky Beltram of Antioch.
Marky's brother Richie was a great linebacker at Antioch High School.
So a short gain on the play. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and 10. Obviously 4-down territory here for the Broncos. So after a wild and offensive-filled first half, just 1 touchdown here in the second half, but it went to Antioch and Elbert Hamilton. Throws, going to be caught. That's going to be a first down to the 40-yard line. And that is number 2, Brandon Lee, again making the catch. DJ Wall came up to make the tackle, but not before a first down.
Pelletier is going to get close to 100 yards passing on this play.
And look at no footwork at all, Dan. He really didn't set his feet at all and still made a very accurate pass to the sideline.
Sonny Jurgensen-like. He just kind of flung it out there. And guess what? They made the catch. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
First down at the Antioch 40. Handoff up the middle, and not much of a gain that time. And this is where they can't afford, Dan, to take a whole lot of time here. They've got to get up, get back to the line of scrimmage as Haynes getting off the bottom of that pile after the short gain. And they got to run this next play. Clock continues to wind.
Tony, they've used 2.5 minutes, and they've had 2 big plays. So, you know, it's going to take them another 2-3 minutes to get in the end zone. There's going to be 2 minutes left in the game. We might be into the onside kick territory at that point.
5 minutes and counting. Peltier with the fake, rolling to his right, looking for some room. Now he's going to throw for the end zone. He's got a man and is going to be picked off at the goal line and then into the end zone, intercepted, and that will be a touchback. Picked off by Antioch. And that is going to be number 11, number 10, Lorenzo Cortez. So he had a man open beyond the defense, but Cortez able to catch that ball in the end zone. It was thrown a little bit short. Antioch takes over following the turnover, and now really just trying to muscle down the clock.
The pass was a little bit underthrown. He's trying to go for the whole thing. As we mentioned, Tony, sometimes when you feel a little bit of urgency, you maybe saw a guy open, a little bit more mustard on that ball, might have got it to him, but both the Antioch defenders got back in time, and the interception was fairly easy.
Antioch picking up their second turnover of this half, and a little confusion on that play. Hamilton going to get the ball and turn it into a nice play anyway, as he gets out across the 25-yard line to about the 26-yard line. So about 6-7 yards on the play. It'll bring up second down.
Hamilton, if he carries the ball often on this drive, Tony, could go over 300 yards rushing tonight, which is nothing compared to the kid up in Sacramento. I don't know his name, read it today in the paper, or late yesterday in the paper. He threw for 656 yards and 10 touchdowns last week.
Wow.
That sounds like arena football right there.
That sounds like a defensive coordinator's nightmare. Shotgun formation. And obviously, the Panthers not going to take a chance of throwing the ball here. They're going to pick up another first down. And that is going to get out across the 35-yard line to about the 37-yard line, and that will move the chains.
I don't think that was the play. I think Carthon just saw a hole and went right up the middle with it. And that's part of the spread offense. It's to, the quarterback can run. He can hand off to the back. He can throw to four receivers, and Antioch really hasn't thrown the ball at all much.
And I'll tell you,
tonight.
Dan, that's why I like the spread a lot more than, say, the veer with the hot potato pitch, because you've got everybody so bunched up at the line of scrimmage. The defense gets bunched up, and it's hard to run in there. If you spread everybody out, it just seems like naturally you're going to find more room.
Well, look at their lineup right now. Northgate only has 3 down linemen. So if you've got numbers on those 3 guys, you're going to gain 4 yards just falling down. If you gain 4 yards every play, you'll get a first down every 3 plays. I believe, let me check that. 3 times 4 is 12. And I know that all my former teachers and administrators at Antioch will be proud that I remembered that. Now, Louie and I go back. Literally, we were talking in the interview at halftime. Wow. Carthon also has 100 yards rushing, 101 now, and 236 for Hamilton. Wow, that's 337 yards, 2 guys.
Hamilton up the middle, cuts it back at the 50, 45-40, down the far sideline, tripped and stumbles out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. So Hamilton has come back with a vengeance following that injury. Take another look here. Beautiful up the middle, then he's going to make the cut back at midfield and run away from a defender. And then finally, Brandon Lee's going to push him out of bounds. It looks like he went out of bounds about the 30-yard line. See where they mark it. Hurt earlier in this half, Dan, and has really come back with a vengeance, and he clearly is our player of the game.
Over 270 yards rushing. 274. That's Dave Jackson, by the way, in the background. He gets to do that
again, and just picks up a couple of yards. But after that injury, and that looked like such a serious injury, Dan, he was laying face down for quite a long time. Didn't see any of his limbs move, and it really, that's when it just gets scary. And you start to think it's not just wind knocked out of you. It's not just, oh my, got a little body ache here, but you're thinking the worst. Then he gets off the deck, comes back in, and just completes this wonderful, wonderful ball game. And looks like he's going to lead the Panthers to victory here tonight, Dan, and a 2-0 start to the 2012 season for Antioch.
And as I mentioned with Northgate, this being one of the best teams I've seen them in recent times, this is the best I've seen Antioch play in a long time. They look like a formidable unit. The thing I like about them, too, is their size up front. They have a huge offensive line. They have a huge defensive line. And they have athletes on the outside. They've got a really good quarterback who appears to be a leader. We haven't even mentioned the fact that Hunter Carthon's a 4.0 student, as well as being the quarterback and the captain of the team.
Wow.
Very, very smart kids. And you'd have to be to run this offense. This offense requires a lot of intelligence. There's a lot to it. It's got a lot of different terminology in it. Hell, it took me 4 or 5 weeks to figure out what the heck they were doing when I was helping my buddy Ferris over there try to coach it. So there's the Panthers. A minute 45.
Hey, Matt, I'm really having trouble hearing you. So it looks like Antioch trying to salt this one away, Dan. And a wonderful start to their season. Going to move to 2-0.
But I tell you, you look at this, the league that Northgate's in, I don't think that anyone is particularly great, but I don't think anyone is particularly bad either. You know what I mean? I think those games are going to be very, very good games in that league this year.
Talking about the Diablo Valley Athletic League. Carthong to the near side, tries to turn the corner and is going to be pushed out of bounds.
I was up on the booth.
And Sean Kremen coming up there for Northgate to make the stop after the short gain. And I'm surprised Antioch went to the sideline. I think they would try to avoid going out of bounds, but feeling they got this one pretty well in hand right now with the 11-point lead. And the clock continuing to run. Actually stopped now with 1:38 to go. Still, the Broncos do have the 3 timeouts. If you're going to start using those, and now Antioch going to burn a timeout and talk it over. So why don't we step away here for just a moment, and then we'll come on back to Walnut Creek. The last minute and a half here from Northgate High School. Actually, we're going to stay right here. So we're going to eschew the timeout.
Oh, wow, there's tonight's word. Hold on. Player of the game, Hamilton, word eschew.
Don't ask me to spell it, but that means, we're just
E-S-C-H-E-W, eschew.
West Coast
which means to
Jamboree
avoid, kind of like I like to eschew Dave Jackson.
So a lot of girls basketball coming up, and we're going to see some great teams out here. Going to try to bring you a lot of those games, especially
we're doing
those
volleyball
championship games.
I heard, though, it's not beach volleyball, which was disappointing.
No sand involved.
Oh, it's just gym floor.
Just gym floor.
I will tell you one thing about watching the Olympics about a month ago. I think volleyball is the hardest game to play. To play. I think you have to have special talents to play volleyball. First of all, you have to be able to jump very high. But some of the little guy, the libero, the guy that doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the stuff they do, I couldn't do if I had 18 arms. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I just think you have to have really special talents to play that game.
And this time Antioch jumped, little movement on that front line, and that'll back the Panthers up 5 yards. Wind continues to blow here, a very chilly night here in Walnut Creek. So that'll bring up, moving back 5 yards, that'll bring up 4th and 10. There's Bruce Stam, one of our cameramen.
Oh, wait, other way. There he is over there. So there's my finger right there. He's over there.
Hamilton going to reverse his field and then be tripped up in the backfield. Looked like Jimmy Sharp, number 12, got there. So that'll bring up 1st down going the other way. And 1:33 to go. So I think I'm going to head down to the field to get our player of the game, and Dan Wall.
So I have to do play-by-play and color in the same game?
I'll yell at you.
Dan Wall to take you the rest of the way, and remember, we'll have that player of the game. I'm going to go down and talk to Elbert Hamilton on what a great game he had. So last minute and a half here from Walnut Creek.
So Antioch has now called another timeout with 1:33 to go here in the 4th quarter. Northgate has a prayer, but it would take a real quick touchdown and then an onside kick to do so. And as we mentioned earlier in this game, you're talking about a team that does not have that quick strike ability in their offense. Let's look at some of the stats from tonight's game while we have an opportunity. Dave will have the final stats for us, of course.
30 carries for 270.
Wow, Hamilton, 30 carries, 277 yards and 2 touchdowns. Carthong got over 100 with his 21st carry, 108 yards, and he had a touchdown as well. That's a lot of rushing production from 2 players, 378 yards of offense. Carthong had 4 completions out of 9 attempts, 44 yards and an interception. The balance on the Northgate side. We've got to look at our other stat sheet, but there it is. Oh, that's the Antioch. Oh, we'll tell you about that after the game. Here's a first down pass from Pelletier. Brandon Lee, about a 7-yard gain. And Northgate calls timeout. So now we have an opportunity to look at the Northgate stats. Tony is headed down the field to get a couple of interview subjects for us. Still very balanced with 42, 42, 27. That one play killed Pelletier, the minus 18 on the fumble. And they actually have 42, 42, 27, 47. And then, of course, the passing now. Pelletier has completed 7 of 14 for 106. So actually a lot more production out of the passing game. Yeah. When you consider they talked about a 75-25 mix of rushing being the dominant play source for the Broncos. Tonight they've actually used the pass. And here in the second half, Antioch's really shut down their running game, though. Minute 23 left. 2 timeouts left for Antioch. Actually, one timeout for Antioch, 1 for Northgate. So if Northgate's going to throw the ball here, this last minute could take a while. Pelletier straight back in the shotgun. He's under center this time. And he drops back, looks, throws near sideline. It's caught by Lee. He's knocked out of bounds by Darian Jones up to the 46-yard line of the Broncos. And it'll be a first down on a gain of about 15. That was a very nice pass. That's one of the toughest passes to throw in high school football. Sideline pass, you got to have a lot on it. Pelletier that time did. A more traditional set now with 4 wide receivers, just 1 back. That's Voorhees behind Pelletier. He rolls, and he'll run. And he's got yardage. And he's still on his feet, down to the 40-yard line. 14-yard gain, first down Northgate. Clock runs. Now it's stopped for the chains, but it should start to run again at 1:06. Here's a replay. You could see a nice hole that time, and he just split the 2 Antioch defenders. He's finally taken off his feet by number 55, Marky Beltram. First down, Northgate. Pelletier throws. The pass is behind the receiver, number 23, intended Nick Mistrelli, but there's a penalty flag on the far sideline, and that'll be defensive holding. And that'll give Northgate another. Should give him an automatic first down. If it could be 1st and 5. So it's pass interference actually, so that'll be a spot of the foul penalty. And Northgate is now in scoring position at the 25-yard line, first down. And this could get a little interesting, folks. Antioch has been hurt by penalties in the second half. They should probably have a much bigger lead than they do. Here's Pelletier to throw. Screen pass. That's Sharp. Sharp gets a block on the outside, turns back in, and is knocked down in the field of play after a short gain. And Northgate calls a timeout. Here's a replay. See the little play action there from Pelletier. Swings out a screen pass. This is Sharp. Sharp actually gained 8 yards on that play. So a nice block on the outside that time by number 23, Nick Mistrelli. And then a number of Panthers over there to make that tackle. So Northgate has 37 seconds to score 2 touchdowns. I still can't get over the Northgate uniforms, though, after all these years. If you look at the administrator, look at the coach. The coach is wearing a hat and a jacket. That's the color that's Justin Lowell. That's the color that they used to wear. They wore the maroon with the yellow and the white. And now they've went to all black, and I wonder if that's just for football or if that's now a school tradition that they'll wear those same colors in other sports as well. It does give you a little bit meaner look, a little bit tougher. Ball's at the 17-yard line, first down. Pelletier drops. Here comes the rush. He throws over the middle. Nice catch that time by Jake Smith. He's brought down inside the 5 at the 3-yard line. 27-26. Clock is running. Northgate's out of timeouts. They're going to have to spike this ball. And they're not. They don't have the right personnel in. We're now down to 17 seconds left. I think the clock should have stopped as they marked off that first down, and Northgate's mad at their own scorekeeper. Sharp up the middle for the touchdown, 25-20. A 2-point conversion would pull them to 3, but there's only 4 seconds left in the game. So this is going to take a Cal band-like miracle, Dave, for anything to happen here. I don't think the Northgate coaching staff was happy with their timekeeper up here because there was a first down. The clock never stopped to move the chains, which is a rule in high school football. So Northgate pulls within 5, but just 4 seconds left in this ball game. Here's Pelletier under center. Play action, throws. Has a receiver, 2-point conversion is good. That's number 25, Fisi Tavaki, getting in on that 2-point conversion, 25-22. And the only thing you can do here, Dave, is catch an onside kick and run it in for a touchdown.
Easy, gentlemen.
First time I've been at this field. It's another beautiful field on this side of the hill, very similar to the fields in Las Lomas, Acalanes, Campo Lindo, Miramani have built over the last couple of years. Of course, Antioch, we talked to their principal, Louis Rocha, at halftime. They're looking for a bond issue to help rebuild that school, and one of the things they would do there is put in a new track and a new football field. Antioch, Deer Valley, and Mount Diablo are the only schools currently on this entire side of including the EBAL schools, the DVAL, the BVAL, the MVAL, all the leagues over here that we've been involved with over the years that have grass fields. And Antioch's field, I remember back when I played at Park Junior High, we couldn't play on that field when it rained. I remember week before a Big Little game, we had to play Concord at Park Junior High. It was the first home game in years. They didn't even have stands. People sat on the hill at Park Junior High and watched that game. And that was the same year that we played the old YV South, who turned into be Northgate after 1 year splitting up that school over Ignacio Valley. Of course, Ignacio Valley now in the league with Northgate. They've been in different leagues. They've been in the same league over the years. So here's the onside kick attempt. Pelletier up in the air. It's recovered, but I think Northgate touched it. First of all, they touched it before it went 10 yards. The clock didn't start running on the touch, and now there's still 4 seconds left. So I have a feeling Antioch's going to get the ball, and this game's going to be over. Okay, so here is right about there. It looks like the ball got touched. It did, by Northgate. It did not go 10 yards. And the clock didn't start, so this will be it. Antioch will kneel down. This one will be over. And after tonight's game, we'll take a break. Tony's on the sideline. He'll have an interview, and then we'll recap the stats and say goodnight. In our first game back, we did a game last year, but it's the first time we've really been back and felt like we were going to have some continual schedule here on a Walnut Creek TV in many years. Yeah, it's been 4 years since we did a full complement of games. So unless these guys do Joe Pisarcik at the Meadowlands, this one's over, and that'll do it. A great football game tonight, a great first half, dominated by offense, second half dominated by defense. Both teams score late. and Antioch wins their second game of the season, 25-22. We'll be back to recap after this break.
Something new is coming to the beautiful city of Walnut Creek.
Oh, what is this?
What is this, you say? It's the new food scrap pail arriving to your home in October. Walnut Creek residents will now be able to compost thanks to the Central Contra Costa Solid Waste Authority. Your pail will come with instructions telling you what items can be composted, such as food scraps, soiled paper, and coffee grounds. Simply put items in your pail, or if you prefer, line your pail with a paper bag first.
Is this pail going to make my kitchen smell?
Would I want your kitchen to smell? Pails are designed to be emptied often. They fit under most sinks and can be washed in your dishwasher.
What happens when my pail is full?
When your pail is full, simply empty scraps in your green waste cup. Food scraps will be composted into a high-quality soil amendment.
Now that was easy.
For more information, visit www.wastediversion.org.
I'm right. I'm with our player of the game, Elbert Hamilton. 277 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Elbert, first, that 67-yard run in the first half. It looked like 3 or 4 guys had a chance to tackle you. Tell us about that big run.
I just try to keep my feet pumping. I just try to make a big play for the team. Just try to do anything to get the victory, get home 2-0.
Yeah, that was one of the great runs. That so many guys had a shot, nobody could take him down. Also, just a big game for you in that spread offense. What's it like running from the spread? It looks like there's just holes everywhere.
Yeah, the 2 receivers on each side, spread them out, just put holes in the middle. Linebackers forced to drop back over the receivers. It's just got to pick and choose your holes.
You got a chance to see that veer offense, that veer formation on the other side. Which would you rather run from?
Yeah, it's tough. I like the spread, but the veer, there's a lot of lead blockers in front of you. So, I probably keep the spread, though. Spread them out.
All right, I want to ask you about that injury. That looked really tough. We were all going, uh-oh, this looks really serious. Tell us what happened after you made that tackle.
I just blanked out for a second. My head started pounding. I just I let it go away, and then I was ready to go.
You gave us a big scare. Congratulations. Elbert Hamilton, our player of the game, 277 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Panthers win here in Walnut Creek, and they move to 2-0. Dan, take us away.
Back in the booth to wrap this one up, Tony, with the player of the game, Elbert Hamilton, who rushed for 277 yards and 2 touchdowns tonight. The other Antioch player of note was Hunter Carthong, who played both ways, had 108 yards rushing and threw for 44 yards. Just real quickly, Dave, we're going to wrap this one up. Pelletier probably more than anyone with his defense and offense, the player of the game on the Ignacio Valley side. Actually, Ignacio Valley threw for 143 yards tonight against the Antioch defense. That's amazing when you consider that their rushing yardage was only 188 yards. So that's almost I'm sorry, Northgate High School. The 180, what was that in the second half, Dave?
They had 133.
Oh. 55 yards of rushing in the second half for Northgate. Tavaki had 42, 45 for Sharp, 41 for Pelletier, and 47 for Haynes. So it was a balanced attack, but it did not match up to what they pulled off in the first half when they were in this game 19-14. Of course, they scored late to make it look respectable, but the final score at the end of the day, 25-22. Antioch, just to give you an idea, 389 yards rushing tonight and 44 yards passing. So Antioch, over 400 yards of total offense. Northgate, over 300. It was a great game, and it was great to be back on TV on this side of the hill, Walnut Creek Television. So for Tony Schultz, Dave Jackson, Matt Bolender, this is Dan Wall saying goodnight from Walnut Creek, where the final score was the Antioch Panthers 25 and the Northgate Broncos 22. We look forward to seeing you again this season on Walnut Creek Television. Good night, everyone.